Alright, welcome back, our YouTube viewers. We have finally done all of the garbage quests leading up to this one quest so we can do these quests properly. So why don't we go ahead and continue.
The winds guide you.
So this is them, the Tonka have finally and formally decided to abandon Tonkale village. So we talked to the mother and she says, "There was once a time when I could walk across this tundra and see the snow would fill my view as far as the eye could see. But the snow has left us, signaling our time here has come to an end. We leave behind Tonkale village and the Borean tundra with many happy memories." She whimpers. "Perhaps the future will welcome our return along with the snow." The path along the Transborea to the east is the only way to reach the Dragonblight. Many perils await you as you make your journey across the tundra. Beware the scourge and its influence upon the beasts of the land. Rumors have started to spread of our own Tonka brothers and sisters rising from the dead and attacking caravans on the way to the Dragonblight. Defend your caravan and get the evacuees to safety.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
Let's go, buddy. What's wrong button? Can you run? You can run. Fantastic. Let's go. It's all... You take a percentage of your health damage based on the height you fall reach. That amount is increased for rogues and druids and increased even more for rogues with a glyph. I was raised on this land. Taught to hunt on this very tundra. Actually, funny story. The fact that Northrend is getting more hospitable is actually a deliberate consequence of the forces that are influencing the entire continent right now, of which there are at least 3 that I'm aware of. So that whole the land's getting warmer thing, that's actually a lore point. No, you can make it. You can make it, buddy. Give me a moment to catch your breath. Alright, take your time. I'll wait for you. I have been having you running behind my horse, so that's all I gotta understand. Okay, let's go. Come, my friend, to the Dragonblight. It's kind of a horrible name, really, for a place that's actually supposed to be relatively peaceful and kind and otherwise positive. I was ready up. Okay, so we already heard that one. Come on, say something new, buddy. He points northeast. I don't have any despair, Schmeidolf, sorry. That smoke in the distance, it is Wartuk. He's trying to tell me something. No, it cannot be true. Ice mist, not ice mist, no! Come quickly, hero, follow me! I'm coming. Slowly, because you don't... Come on, dude, hurry up. Go! Come on. Look, all your people are dead and soon you will be too, but look at the bright side. You'll get back up soon. Look, he's even got a harness, Schmeidolf. Look, right there. Come on, see? You are very slow, sir. I should have just killed you when I had the chance. Okay, we made it.
Hail.
She is quite kind, you know. If it was not for your emissary, the surviving refugees may have given up all hope. While she may not be Tonka by birthright, the tribe has asked her, taken to her as the village elder for the time being. If you are who I think you are, please pay Emissary Brighthoof a visit inside the camp. She's been waiting.
Ancestors watch over.
So this was Ice Mist. Or rather, Ice Mist is actually further east of here. This is the refugee camp for the survivors of Ice Mist.
You wish to speak?
This is a horde Tauren, to make that clear. What you see here is all that remains of the Tonka from the Borean tundra and the Dragonblight. They are a broken people, battered, brought to the brink of extinction by the Scourge. Only the Horde can save them now. Only the Horde can mend their broken spirits. We will nurse them back to health, and they will in turn strengthen the Horde in Northrend. I'm sure no one will misuse their trust in the Horde to further their own ends.
Winds be at your back.
Before we can officially bring these Tonka into the Horde, we must recover our armaments from the Anubar Nerubians that infest the nearby woods. The armaments were lost when a caravan from Agamar's Hammer was ambushed by the Scourge last night. Venture into the woods, recover those
Walk
armaments.
with the Earth Mother.
Oh, I can probably do that. I was one of the guards chosen to escort the caravan carrying the armament shipment to this camp. The attack came swiftly and without warning. We fought and killed dozens of the beasts, but in the end, there were simply too many. Torzin and I barely made it out alive. If not for our injuries, we'd be out in the woods hunting those fiends ourselves. Will you help us regain our lost pride? Search the woods east of here for the Anubar Nerubians and kill them for the Horde!
Go forth to victory.
Not that I'm aware, Psychotic, no. She could just be an exceptionally tall Tauren. So this is actually kind of a nice little bit of lore here. And really kind of an insight into why people need to stop associating a person with an organization. So if I told you the Horde is good, I imagine there'd be, I'd say 50% of the people who care about the subject would say yes, absolutely. And roughly 50% of the people would say, no, the Horde is evil and terrible and awful. Okay, I'm exaggerating slightly, but the overall point here is there are good and there are bad within any given organization. Now the problem is, let's say we have a beleaguered people who have been basically forced out of their homes and attacked by the Scourge, and they're literally on the verge of being wiped out. Let's say someone comes along and is kind and helpful and strong and does everything in their power to help them. Now, you'd be positively inclined towards those people, wouldn't you? So let's say those people say, oh, we're from an organization called the Horde. So these people, these Tonka, the reason they pledge themselves to the Horde, swear to the Horde to their dying breath, is because they had such a positive experience with the first few Horde they encountered. Horde people who were genuinely kind, caring individuals who wanted to help them. I mention that because we'll be seeing a few Horde in a bit who are not kind, caring individuals, who do not want to help them. There are a few Horde who look at these Tonka as if they are tools. There are a few Horde who look at these Tonka as if they're not even relevant. They haven't even earned their place amongst the Horde. They can't even defend themselves. What's the good of them? Now, as I mentioned earlier, we don't actually know 100% what happened to the Tonka long term. So, I can't actually tell you how this story plays out. But every time I do this question, I feel just a little bit sick to my stomach. Because again, initially, we, the player characters, and several others, including these Horde here, the Tauren and the Orc gentlemen, we help these people, we save these people. Later on, and when we get to Agmar's Hammer, we see how the Horde starts to use these people, you know? And we never see past that. We never see anything on camera where they go past the point where they're using them. So we don't know if they ever got to the point of abusing them. We don't know if they ever got to the point of just treating them like they were nothing more than arrows in the quiver, if you will. I hope it never reached that point. But the fact that we haven't seen any Tonka outside of Northrend, I think is significant. This is WoW. And while they do like to leave plot threads sitting for exceptionally long periods of time, one other thing they like to do, and we've seen this in Kata and we see this in Legion, is they like to tie up characters and arcs and otherwise tie things from previous expansions into future ones. Self-referential, if you will. So, there have been many, many possibilities for them to have a Tonka anywhere outside of Northrend, and we haven't seen it. And I don't think that's a good sign.
Sug.
You have preserved our honor. We thank you for this selfless act. Yeah, you're welcome.
Dabu.
I hope not, Norles.
How may I aid?
Like I said, I don't know for sure. This is exactly what we need. Brandishing Horde arms will lift their spirits and give them the protection they need against the Scourge. Are you prepared for the ceremony of initiation? They are ready, Valvaxis. These Tonka will all willingly join the Horde and give all that they have to see the Scourge driven from this world. With this scroll, you will find the blood oath of the Horde. Tradition dictates that our new Tonka brothers and sisters utter the sacred words within. Take the scroll and swear the Tonka into the Horde, Commander. Return the scroll to me when you have completed your duty.
Ancestors watch over you.
Hail.
There's nothing left for us here. Worry no more, Tonka. The Horde will save and protect you and your people, but first you must swear allegiance to the War Chief by taking the blood oath of the Horde. Will the Scourge... Retribution is the given right of all members of the Horde. Why is that built in to our equivalent of the Constitution? So here's the blood oath of the Horde. Loktar Ogar, victory or death. It is these words that bind me to the Horde, for they are the most sacred and fundamental of truths to any warrior in the Horde. Disagree? I give my flesh and blood freely to the War Chief. I am the instrument of my War Chief's desire. I am a weapon of my War Chief's command. From this moment until the end of days, I live and die for the Horde!
Go in peace. Greetings.
And then you have to do that several times.
Ancestors watch over you. Well met. Farewell.
Agreed, Permeus. Let them burn.
What brings you here?
The more I play this game, the more I think Kel'Thuzad had the right of it. The world needed a scourging,
friend.
and it never actually got one.
Be careful. Tell me I aid you.
We'll call it the new Scourge.
Ah, I've been expecting...
Thank you for doing this, Commander. They have nothing left. You have given them purpose, and with purpose comes hope. Hope for a new tomorrow, for a new life. Directly east of this refugee camp stands Agmar's Hammer, testament to the Horde's power in Dragonblight. While I have no doubt our Horde brothers and sisters are already seeing the results of your efforts to bring the Tonka into the Horde, I want you to deliver news of your success to Agmar in person.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
You can probably see why I felt it was so important to do these quests on camera, by the way. By the way, how many of you who are playing Horde would accidentally stumble into the Alliance camp that's like right around here somewhere without realizing it and be like, wait, why am I PvP flagged? How about Scourge 2.0? No? How about the Scourgening? How about the Mega Scourge? Scourgerama. How about we call it the Dominion? That has a really nice ring to it. By the way, there's the Alliance camp right there. Nowadays I know to watch for the purple. There's too many times I've roamed in there by accident. Yeah. The true Horde. I mean Scourge. I think I like the term Dominion. I think I'll go with that one. So welcome to another example of the difference in perspective between the Alliance and the Horde. Notice that the main Alliance city in here, Winterguard Keep, they only have like half of the city still under their control. That's the 7th Legion city we were just doing. This is Agmar's Hammer. Much smaller, of course, and much more inclined to, again, emphasize what the Horde are doing here. This is a fortress, and it's pretty well built, and it's completed. This just shines such a light on the difference in perspective between the two forces here and their mentality and tactical philosophy going into Northrend. So let's talk to Agmar. Hey, Agmar. What's up?
What do you need?
Well, you have undoubtedly championed the cause of the Horde elsewhere. Many more have been working towards expanding our grasp deeper into Northrend. Even now, we have forces establishing bases in the frozen reaches of this desolate wasteland. We surround the Scourge on all sides. Victory nears as our armies reach the foot of the Wrathgate Angrathar. Soon we will tear down the gate and breach the Ice Crown. But there is much work to be done. First, we stop the Nerubians.
Strength.
Look, I'm tired of walking with him. There remains only two primary threats in our way. One is the dread Citadel Noxuramus, far to the east, and the other is the Pit of Narjun, exit point for the undead armies of Ajol Narub. It is from the Pit of Narjun that the Anubar Nerubians assaulted and razed the Tonka village. We will destroy the Anubar and close off the pit. Whoops, I didn't mean to abandon. It's... I don't know, Third. I do not know. Well, the Horde brought more of their military forces here, Lapstick. The Alliance, really, the Alliance only came in force in one unit, and that's the 7th Legion, which
Anaria
we've already
Shola.
showcased.
We will have justice.
The other, well, okay, I'll talk about that in a second. I just need to remember to talk about the perspectives.
Enubelore Delana.
The Mooncrest Gardens to the southwest were the final resting place of a group of highborn elves. It was also a ley line nexus. The Blue Dragonfight have used a magical device they call a Surge Needle to destroy that nexus, freeing the power to redirect at their will. I want more information, and you're going to get it for me. After the land was destroyed at the ruins, the ghosts of the Highborn rose up and decimated half the mage hunters there. Rifle their corpses for clues.
Remember the Sunwell.
Hey, it's a random messenger. I wonder what this guy has to say. He shakes your hand and gives you a letter in the process. Just play along. It's good to see you here, soldier. Lord Hellscream has undoubtedly sent his strongest warriors to Lord Argramar. Okay.
For the Horde.
That was across from Ironforge through Dune Morrogue and into Loch Badon Reach. So I just got a letter. Valvaxis. If you are reading this letter, then you are alive and in one piece. Or at least you still have your eyes. I must apologize for the secrecy. Agmar demands that all mail is read before delivery. Too many traitors and thieves, as the wanted posters no doubt display. There are delicate matters herein that could be easily misconstrued by the new guard. For a soldier of the Horde, loss is absolute. Loss means death, and there's no negotiation or interpretation with death. One can only hope the manner of that death was honorable. But victory can mean many things. As you have probably noticed, the Corcoran are here in full force. The war chief has sent his most elite guard to help secure victory in Northrend. They, along with you and other heroes, are pushing the Lich King and his forces towards an inevitable conclusion. With each challenge you overcome, we are one step closer to ridding the world of Arthas and the Scourge. And therein lays the dilemma. For you see, our forces in Northrend work under the auspices of the young Hellscream. Each victory bolsters the morale of the Horde forces here, which carries through to the rest of Azeroth. It is unfortunate, then, that Hellscream employs such savage tactics. As victory approaches, Hellscream gains further justification for his methods, which in turn brings us closer to a place we have not been in many years. A dark place. I have sent my son to command the forces at Wrathgate. I know he will battle with honor, and I remain hopeful his courage and tenacity will be noticed and emulated by our forces. He is my heart and strength in a place I cannot be. You will be my eyes and my ears, and together we will make it right. Blood and thunder, may your arrival bring them both. High Lord Sourfang. How do I... No. How do I... Ah, there we go.
Cloak Ta.
Sorry, understood. I'll return to my lord and tell him you have accepted.
Dabu.
I would give so much for this plot thread to be continued. I mean, obviously it is, to some extent, but this is the beginning of something that we'll see a little bit of, which I'll talk about in just a moment, forgive me.
Thrall, halt.
The undead Nerubians that attacked Ice Mist Village came from a gigantic sinkhole known as the Pit of Najun. If left alone, those fiends will no doubt flank our forces at the Wrathgate and end our march to victory. I need eyes on the ground, Valvaxis. You're to head there and investigate the pit. We need to locate their primary exit point. Find me that location.
Go forth to victory.
It's a good thing I intercepted this request from High Lord Executor Roth before it got to Overlord Agmar. What is Roth thinking? He rips up the paper. Paladin, go see what it is the High Executor wants. Follow the road east and pass through the Dragon Waste. Okay, so that's a go-to I'll be doing a little bit later. No reach. That letter, however, is exceptionally important. I'll go ahead and talk about it briefly, but I'm tired of hearing the drum music, so we're going to go out here for a second. That was Saurfang telling us that everything I've already told you. Every time Hellscream wins, he gets more brutal. When he is more brutal, he gains more successes. Because of those successes, he gains justification to be more brutal. Hellscream is turning the Horde into this terrible, horrible thing. And Saurfang is rightfully worried that Hellscream, that Garrosh, I really should say correctly, is not... He doesn't have any temperament. He doesn't understand or comprehend what he's actually doing. To him, well, it's all just victory at that point. That letter is brilliant. And that letter is also the beginning of a plot thread that will actually continue throughout the course of the next 3 expansions. Most of the time, as a Horde player, you end up assisting the Horde war effort against the Alliance, one way or the other, whether you want to or not, and that sucks. The other little times, it emphasizes just as a tiny little thing that you, as the player character guy, are one of the only people who recognize how wrong things have become, and are willing to fight back against your own leadership. There are several quests that we'll be seeing throughout. That's the tip of the iceberg right there. That we'll be seeing, and this really comes to a head in Pandaria, where we are basically an infiltration force against our own Horde. And as Garrosh gains more and more power and becomes more and more of a brutal, vicious dictator, it becomes more and more focused on anti-Garrosh and anti-Garrosh's Horde. And we will actively be sabotaging those efforts and working against him in the future. If I'm being honest, I just wish we could do more of that. Most of that is interpretive, based on certain quest texts and the way we interact with certain people. The Vol'jin Pact is a great example of that. I wish we saw more quests, like the Netherwing stuff, where we were part of the Dragonmaw clan, but secretly we were tearing the Dragonmaw apart from within. I would have loved to see quests in Pandaria where we actually do stuff in Orgrimmar to sabotage the war effort, to hurt the Horde, or rather, Garrosh's Horde. But most of that is left to the player to interpret. But that letter is awesome, and it really shows why Saurfang is an amazing character, and I really hope we see more.
What can I help you with?
Angrathar, the Wrathgate. I watched as the metal holding the gate together pulsed and undulated as if it was alive. In 50 years, I've never seen a metal breathe. Only ones who knew anything about it were the Tuskar. They called it the Black Blood of Yogg-Saron and told me to keep my distance. There's a sinkhole outside Ice Mist Village to the west called the Pit of Narjun. I've heard of these sinkholes being rich with this strange ore. If you'd head that way, would you try to get me some samples?
For the Horde.
What brings
By
you
the
here?
way, that letter and the escalation of the Horde progress is why, even though technically Grizzly Hills should probably happen before Dragonblight, I prefer to do Dragonblight before Grizzly Hills because the Orc encampment in Grizzly Hills is a nice follow-up to this, which is a nice follow-up to Warsong Hold. The progression of the story is fairly linear between those three. The scourge come looking. With the scourge comes death and disease. We often overlook that the wildlife of a scourge-infested area is ravaged and ultimately destroyed by rot and contagion. For most of the indigenous beasts of the Dragonblight, it is too late. The festering disease that the scourge bring has already infected the beasts, and they are now rabid and rotting. You must venture west towards the pit of Narjun. Cull the infected.
Goodbye.
Also, I'm sorry, Bragan. Mwah. There, that will make it better. From what I understand, anyways. I wouldn't say soon, no, Athera, but we are hopefully doing that today.
Blood and thunder.
Oh god, me too, Norlex. I had the exact same reaction. I saw that like, oh god, no, please. Please, no. Please don't make my hometown a freaking Serenite. Ah. Anyways.
Scrape.
So, once again, by the way, we're going to be seeing throughout the quest on the Horde side the same focus on the Wrathgate for the same basic reason. The Horde obviously has a huge interest in taking down the Wrathgate, again, for the exact same reason that the Alliance did. And once again, the only difference between the two in perspective is the Alliance constantly underestimated the Scourge, thinking they're not really much of a threat, whereas the Horde constantly overestimate themselves, thinking they will be able to crush the Scourge for the Horde. Both sides will suffer for their stupidity. The timing, the reason I wanted to do Wrathgate proper on the Horde is it leans more naturally into it. And you'll see what I mean later. I want to keep quiet about it for those few who haven't actually seen it. I don't want to give everything away, but the Horde quests lean perfectly into the Wrathgate. Now, I was talking about something. Serenite. So, for those of you not aware, we didn't actually know who or what Yogg-Saron was at this point in time, when these quests came out. So if you're paying attention, twice now we've heard the term Yogg-Saron referenced. Specifically the black blood of Yogg-Saron, or simply the blood of Yogg-Saron. So, at the time, we had actually nothing to go off of. Because we had no idea who that was. We had no idea that there was an old god here or anything. It was all purely wild speculation. Now I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit of what the blood of Yogg-Saron is, because this is actually really messed up. We don't actually know if every old god has this same kind of reaction, but Yogg-Saron is the only one of the old gods that has something like the black blood. Now, I mentioned that because we're not even 100% sure if that is literally his blood, given the type of creature he is, or if it's just a byproduct of something he's been oozing out. If I could use a weird parallel, forgive me for a moment. In Final Fantasy IX, by the way, anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled about Final Fantasy IX, I am about to spoil something about Final Fantasy IX. You have this moment to mute me. This will not take long to talk about, so just mute me for the next minute. Okay? Spoiler warning given. In Final Fantasy IX, there is a substance called Mist that has been produced and introduced into the Mist continent, which is the primary area where the story takes place, containing 3 nations, Burmecia, Alexandria, and Lindblum. That mist artificially makes people more aggressive than it otherwise would. It actually pretty much is one of the reasons that encourages the non-stop wars that the 3 nations have had for centuries. Well, that mist was deliberately introduced to that continent specifically to cause those wars for the sake of a plot that I will not share right now. Alright, now that we're done with talking about FF9, the reasoning I'm trying to get to here is, it would not surprise me if Yogg-Saron, once he was woken up, by reasons I'll go into in just a moment, had deliberately gone out of his way specifically to introduce his blood into the world in the areas he had, into the world that he had stretched out into, specifically to encourage them to be more vicious, or more violent, or more crazed, or more susceptible to his control, or his manipulations. It's the exact same general type of situation there, at least theoretically. This would go a long way towards explaining why Yogg is the only one who does anything like this. It is also possible under those circumstances that this is literally just a substance he has invented, probably containing his own old god essence, because we know that Serenite is a pretty messed up substance, but also probably forged in the Frozen North in some manner or another. Now, so, we're about to fight some undead Nerubians, but there's also some living Nerubians. I was doing a little bit of additional research, hey Darker, into the living Nerubians, and I came across an interesting little tidbit that was the second of two pieces of evidence I have that, I shouldn't say evidence, but it's more like it makes me more inclined to believe that it would be entirely possible to have the Nerubians be playable, have them peacefully coexist with the other races is really the thing. Because for me, that's really what it boils down to make a playable race. Can I come up with any reason why a sufficient number of this race would join one side or the other? Probably because of the equator being in the wrong direction, Reach. So, yeah, no kidding, Psychotic. Because that's the question for me. So some people have asked, how the hell could Nerubians ever coexist with other races? Well, ignoring the fact that they do several times here, which is the first piece of evidence. The second piece of evidence is they're not actually loyal to the old gods anymore. They used to be. There are probably still among them who are still loyal to the old gods, but there is an entire faction of Nerubians who are not actually loyal still to the old gods. Now, you might be like, oh, that's bull honky. Well, first of all, the fact that we, again, assist several Nerubians here in fighting the minions of the old gods is numero uno piece of evidence I have for that fact. But here's the second piece of evidence. Well, actually, I've got three pieces of evidence total, but whatever. When the War of the Spider was happening, I will discuss the War of the Spider more in just a moment for those of you who have not played Warcraft and therefore, want to hear the lore. When the War of the Spider happened, the reason the Nerubians lost wasn't because of the Scourge. Back then, the Scourge was actually kind of weak, relatively speaking. They pretty much only had undead dwarves and humans and the occasional elf, and they hadn't really perfected the resurrect them forever concept, so for the most part, it was just a relatively small undead army with all the weaknesses and strengths that implies. The Nerubians, with all of their knowledge and magical power and prowess, were more than capable of taking them out. Keep in mind the Nerubians were not a military power at this point in history. In fact, it is actually emphasized they were the opposite of that. They were a race of sculptors, scholars, painters, musicians. These people lived a peaceful and near idyllic existence within the depths of Ajal Narub. Now, the first and most obvious thing I can point out is, that doesn't sound like an old god minion race, does it? The second most obvious thing I can point out is, that sounds like a lot like an old god minion race that got freed from the old gods, doesn't it? Because we kind of know, see around my blessed, we kind of know what it's like when a creature or a minion or a species who was, controlled by the old gods is released by them. Because we see this in Outland. We see the Netherwing flight in comparison to the Black Flight. We know what it's like when that influence is removed. We've actually seen that happen. Second point of note, the Nerubians, when they were fighting back against the Scourge, dug down and away in order to get themselves better positioning, better strategic situation, right? When they were digging down, they accidentally found one of Yogg-Saron's tendrils. Now, this is the War of the Spider, so this occurred pretty much just before Warcraft 3. So this is roughly about 19 years? Hang on, I've got the timeline right here. I might as well just look at it. This would have been... Okay, excuse me. This would have been about 8 years prior to Wrath of the Lich King, to give you an exact time frame there. So that's when the War of the Spider happens. That's when Yogg-Saron wakes up. They dug in, accidentally revealed one of his tendrils, and all of the death and all of the scourge in the area woke Yogg-Saron up. And that's when he actually became active on Northrend. Before then, it was more of a passive, his essence is influencing the region kind of a thing. And of course, he had his subservient minion in Loken, who had been his minion for forever. But this also partially explains why Loken did nothing for quite literally millennia. Loken was just sitting around doing nothing until about 8 years ago, when Yogg-Saron woke up, thanks to the Nerubians fighting back against the Scourge. Now, you might be like, well, what does this have to do with the Nerubians being against the old gods? Oh, very simple. the old gods immediately went to war with the Nerubians, and vice versa. The reason the War of the Spider was lost on behalf of the Nerubians was because they were fighting a two-front war. They were fighting the Scourge and the old gods. They were stuck in the middle. The Nerubian race was almost wiped out. I say almost. I shouldn't put it to such extreme, but it's close. There are pockets of Nerubians who survived the War of the Spider. The vast majority of the Nerubian Empire became undead once the Scourge was able to perfect the plague in order to raise Nerubians as undead. It took some effort and work for them to do that. So that's my next big point of evidence as to why the Nerubians are not loyal servants of the old gods, because they were actively fighting against them in that war. Next and final point. When this is a minor point and it requires a little bit of extrapolation. When Anub'arak was leading Arthas, Death Knight Arthas, up through the tunnels of Ajol Nerub in order to get up to Icecrown quickly, you remember that? The final undead missions of the Frozen Throne campaign? They encounter a Forgotten One. Fun fact, we'll actually be encountering 4 Forgotten Runs throughout the course of WoW. Not until Kata, obviously. Anyways, so they encountered a Forgotten One. Anub'arak immediately recognized it, and immediately recognized it as an enemy, and an enemy that had to be defeated immediately and taken seriously. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because obviously the old gods and the Scourge are enemies. But the fact that he knew about it, had that understanding and knowledge, and had that innate fear of it, kind of helps to indicate the Nerubian side of him, his Nerubian memories of that thing, not just his new Scourge mentality. Again, that's a minor point, and much, much lesser than the other two. So yeah, I would make a very strong case, in my opinion, hey Prog, that the Nerubians would be more than capable, that the surviving Nerubians would be more than capable of interacting and coordinating with the mortal races. And to wit, here's some friendly Nerubians. In fact, when we get up here, the first thing that happens is there's this Anubar Underlord, that would be a Scourge one, who says,
You've made a mistake, mortal. There is no escape.
and then Killik says,
Betrayers! The day of reckoning comes with it, and with it your judgment. Now see if the Lich King saves you from the Ancient One's judgment, and now you die! Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, there we go. We're good. We are in the midst of a civil war. At the heart of this world are the last living members of my species defend themselves against total annihilation. The Lich King seeks to rule the kingdom of Ajal Nerub at any cost. Those that do not acquiesce are branded enemies of the Scourge and marked for death. In Arthas, we both have an enemy. Join our cause. Rid this place of the taint of Anubar. Let Anub'arak himself hear the cries of their anguish, death, and doom, and all those fun things. Hello, Magister. That counts as a mortal, by the way. That totally counts as a mortal counter. So, yeah, Ajol Nerub, by the way, to give you a little idea, even at absolute bare minimum, Ajol Nerub is this big. This is the absolute minimum that we know for a fact Ajol Nerub covers. All of these 5 zones. It's huge. And they were originally going to have this massive, extensive Ajol Nerub. They did so much beautiful, amazing work on it. I cannot wait to show you the dungeons, where I will do the best that I can in order to really highlight just how awesome the work that they actually already did on Ajol Nerub is. We'll actually be seeing Ajol Nerub 3 times total throughout the course of going through Wrath. And it's awesome. And it's a damn shame. It is such a damn shame that we don't get it. For those of you not aware, every now and again Blizzard has to cut content. You know, the most recent, of course, example being Farallon in Warlords of Draenor. And it pretty much always sucks when they have to cut content. It's a natural reality of developing an ongoing game that has to deal with budget and justification and all that fun stuff. I don't know, Psychotic. But one thing you'll see is many developers, at least 4 that I'm aware of personally, have at conventions and in Twitter conversations and whatnot, have admitted that their one biggest regret as far as cut content, is Ajol Narub. They had done so much work for it, and they had gotten so close to finishing it off. And it was gorgeous, and it's a huge, very relevant lore spot to the world. I mean, God, and there's so much they can do with it. It's like a tremendous amount of potential for quests and story and plot and new stuff and gameplay and everything, and they had to abandon it. And they hate that fact. And I don't blame them, because I hate that fact too. Losing the Abyssal Maw, that was bad. Losing Farallon, that sucked. But losing Ajol Narub was just painful. Hello, King Bubble. There are thousands more, and they spill from every dark crevice in Northrend. Alone you stand no chance, but together, maybe. Shoot, where is it? I guess I'll help you guys. Did I pick it up in time? I don't think I picked it up in time. Congrats, Nicholas. You have proven you are willing to assist the Ajol Empire in its time of need, and as such, the Ajol Empire will assist the Horde. Take this scroll back to your leader. It documents the strengths and weaknesses of the Nerubians attacking the Ice Mist village. Consider it a gesture of good faith, a willingness to help your people. Use the knowledge on the pages to crush the Anubar, and you will have done a service for us all. Farewell. Well, I hope to God they don't do another time travel expansion, because I'm kind of sick of time travel expansions. But they could come back here, yes. They could actually do that. They could return to the Ajol Narub story arc. Okay, so I just discussed this, Prog. Where you been, man? I have given several bits of evidence that no, they actually don't anymore. So that's just what, I'm just going to summarize it. Based on the evidence, based on what I've seen, they actually no longer worship the old gods. At the very least, there's one... Oh, I hate this quest. At the very least, there's one quest, or one group of Nerubians who do not. I know, Prog. It's just funny because I literally just talked about that, like, right before now. It was just weird from my perspective to suddenly hear someone be like, hey, so about that thing you literally just said 3 seconds ago. You know. A time wipe? No, no time expansions. No time anything. No time anything. Blah, 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 blah. Tired of it. God damn it. I hate the time travel garbage in Warcraft. I'm sorry, I do. I liked going through Caverns of Time in Durnhold and Stratholme and a few other dungeons, but Frel! Really? It doesn't help that Warcraft uses my least favorite form of time travel. I hate it. Alright, I'm done. These so-called mage hunters came here to destroy our resting place. Avenge us, or I will see to it that your base of operations is overrun with the spirits of the dead. The next Warcraft movie? I gotta be honest, the director in me, for lack of a better term, wants Warcraft 2 the movie, after we've had Warcraft 1 the movie. I think Warcraft 2 has some great movie fodder. These are Type 2 undead, yes, correct. There's quite a few of Type 2 undead here who are left here because the mage hunters, that would be Malygos' forces, are, dumb, I think is probably the best way to put that. Well, of course it does, Prog. It should. It's a movie, not a game. I know that sounds like a weird statement, but, I mean, honestly, I'm one of those people who have said for years that a movie is such a different medium than anything else, book or game, that if you just try to convert it one-to-one, it's going to fail. It is one of the reasons why so many of them have failed over the years. It needs to be interpreted. I agree with that. I think a live-action movie... That was one of the biggest things that made me hesitant when they announced the movie. What Magister says is an excellent example of that. The MCU is not loyal to the comics at all. I mean, there's some similarities there, but it is fully interpreted. I agree, Nero says, you know, in an idyllic circumstances. The Second War, and then the fighting beyond the Dark Portal, which actually happened like a year later, so... Soldier, Reach. And Soldier, and then Soldier, respectively. I'm not kidding. I pretty much universally play a Soldier. Hey, Alpha Q. So one of the things I like to do is I like to have a donation incentive for people who want to chip in tips or whatever. So in this case, because it's WoW, those numbers are which particular transmog suit I'll be wearing while I go around in quest and whatnot. So, that's what those numbers are. What direction? Where's my previous screen? Oh, that's what those numbers over there are. This number right here is how many times we hear the word mortal said throughout WoW with considerable derision. Because I don't know if you played this game before, but they tend to say that a lot. I would agree, by the way. I think television is a better format for games. It's one of the reasons why, when we were doing the Final Fantasy stuff, my big thing was not, you know, I don't want a Final Fantasy VI movie or a Final Fantasy IV movie. I want a Final Fantasy VI television show. Have story arcs across whole episodes. Have more room for character development and growth. You know? Just my opinion on the matter. Well, I haven't always played as a soldier. I've actually played as every single class at one point, Reach. But my first class, my next class, and my favorite class were all soldiers. So, I was actually kind of upset when soldier just was kind of blah in Mass Effect 3. But anyways, definitely when we get to the raids in Cataclysm, Nicolas. There's going to be a lot of raids where it's like, mortal, 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 mortal. Movies make and cost much more money. Yes, that is absolutely true. Most people don't actually understand the ridiculous amount of funding, backing, and otherwise work that goes into making a movie. I know that sounds like an obvious thing, but to name a very obvious example of what I'm talking about, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. They had no idea what they were getting into, and no idea how much it would set them back to make a movie happen. But anyways, very well. You have satisfied my request, if nothing more. Thank you, Blood Elf. There's one last thing I would ask you do. I would have you destroy Arcanimus! The sorcerers to the west used that giant device in the sky to bore a pit into our resting place. When they did that, they unleashed a monstrosity. I would not care if it was only a concern for mortals, but it feeds on the spirits of the dead. You will put an end to it now. By the way, this is a night elf, or I should say was a night elf. To be a little more accurate. I believe we get one more quest over here, so I'm actually going to go turn in quick. I'm sorry, Progue. But yeah, the big... Oh, crap, I did it again! I did it again! Frickin' Night Elves, why are you right there? You're literally in between the quest zone and the town. Damn it. Anyways, yeah, that's another mortal counter. Mortals. Oh my god. What was I doing? I'm just... Okay, I know what I'm doing.
Strength.
What have you got here? Is this what I think it is? With this information contained within these pages, we will crush the Anubar assault. You have done well to bring me this document. Perhaps you will be allowed to watch or even participate in the final battle at Angrathar. Loktar! Also, once again, notice how the Horde quests, just like the Alliance quests, continuously mention Angrathar. And again, for the same reason. That is the goal of this campaign.
The Eternal Sun guides us.
You have returned. What did you uncover? Curious. They seek an accord with the Ethereum. The Ethereals could prove a powerful ally for Malygos in his madness. This will not do. We need to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, Paladin, and you're the stone. Our 2 birds are Wind Trader Mufa and Goramosh. They should be somewhere in the western half of the gardens. Most likely they're in the larger part of the buildings. I require proof of their demise, if you would be so kind.
Farewell.
So, this is the plot thread I mentioned back in BC, and will again come back up in Legion.
Sug.
I'll talk about it in a moment. That damned sinkhole must be directly connected to Ajol Narub. This is worse than I thought. Seek and destroy, that'll be the next course of action. The Tonka are now our brothers in arms. We must show solidarity and retake Ice Mist Village. You will find Ice Mist west of here, sitting at the foot of the mountains. Travel there and challenge the Nerubians. Plant our beloved Horde flag, banner at Ice Mist Village and destroy all who dare come tear it down. Let the Anubar feel the full might of the Horde.
For the Horde.
For the Horde. As I just said. I don't really need to repeat it, but I felt like I should.
McGraw.
What's life without risks? It's so light. It's as if it weighs nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing. I'll need time to analyze the metal and see if I can do anything with it. Tests! I need to run tests. I'll keep in contact. I can't make a damn thing out of this ore. It will not hold together. Despite my best efforts, the Scourge metal will not bend. Maybe if I had some samples of the forged Scourge armaments, I might be able to reverse engineer the process. Ice Mist Village is crawling with armored Scourge Nerubians. Go there and get me some armaments. With your help, I might actually succeed in creating something from this ore.
Strength.
I think I agree, Nerozos. It would add more impact to it. If you don't get the nothing at all thing, don't fret it.
Well met.
Kill the beast to prevent the spread, and give me the rot-resistant organ. Aha! It pains me to put animals down, but it is a service that must be performed. Our forsaken allies have sent their apothecary corps here to assist us in destroying the Wrathgate. Oh, that's wonderful! The apothecaries are here, guys! One amongst them, Dr. Sintar Maleficus, his name is Maleficus, is well versed in the Scourge rot and methods of containing the spread. I'd purposely worked out a deal with him regards to devising a vaccine for the wildlife. He has since been waiting on the organ. Deliver this rot-resistant organ to Dr. Maleficus and let him know it's from me.
Go in peace.
What now?
What now? That oafish cow man actually obtained a rot-resistant organ? Curses! I was certain that task would keep his malformed mind occupied well into the next millennium. Well, give it here, girl. I have much to do without your feeble needs getting in the way. How fortuitous it is that the Ruby Dragon Shrine lays just to the east. It is there you'll find a flower called the Ruby Lilac. This life-giving plant is all I need to concoct a vaccine for the untainted beasts in this region. Travel east and search the Ruby Dragon Shrine. Oh, just one thing. The Dragon Shrine, like all Dragon Shrines in this blasted wasteland, is beset by the Scourge. Watch your step. I wouldn't want you to be devoured by an ember worm.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
Yep.
Strength and honor.
Is that a severed orc head in your pack? Or are you just happy to see me? I told you we'd get you. Here's your reward, Paladin. That's one less headache for us to worry about.
Go forth to victory.
At which point in time, Slights? Because the Horde and the Alliance have had variable strengths compared to each other at different points in history.
The winds guide you.
It is an honor to meet you, hero. It is because of your actions that many of us are here now, alive, and ready for battle against the Scourge. You have done so much for us it shames me to ask for your assistance once more. Despite my pleas, my only son, Banthok, left here to go in search of his father, High Chief Ice Mist. He was last seen heading west towards the village. Please find Banthok. I don't know what I would do if I lost my son.
Ancestors watch over you.
Yeah, no kidding, Permeus. Right now, I would say the Alliance would probably overall win that one. The Alliance really got stronger pretty much every single expansion from Kata onwards, whereas the Horde, ironically, have pretty much gotten weaker every expansion from this point onwards. The only exception to that is the Forsaken, which I don't really call Horde in the strictest sense of the word. I mean, I know they're technically Horde, but not really in any way that matters. So, also, the Forsaken are apparently a lot weaker than I thought because of artificial limitations. Dentarg. Dentarg. What did happen to Dentarg? Let's look it up! What happened to you? So, you did that. You did that. I have no idea what happened to him. Oh, never mind. That's right. That's right. I remember that. That was in the book, wasn't it? Dentarg was engaged in a mage duel with Khadgar, which Khadgar ended up winning because Khadgar was the better mage. And then Dentarg bowed in honor of him because, you know, he was actually a relatively decent folk. And Khadgar beheaded him. So there's your answer. This fight used to suck solo. Deal with this interruption, Caldonis. After you're through, bring me the head of the one they call Valvaxis. I will decorate my... I will decorate my, chambers with their skull. And he says, you test my patience. You now see the true might of the blue. But then I kill him. This transgression against the blue dragonflight has been noted. I will take extra pleasure in separating the life energy from your body. Yeah, I've actually already killed you, technically, so... Yeah, seriously, Chengi. She was like, no. No, we are not, Permeus. Legitimately, we are not. You know, no joking. So you're probably wondering what the hell this is. Yeah, we'll get to it. There's no rush. But there is one other thing I wanted to talk about. So, as I mentioned, the Ethereum and the Blue Dragonflight actually did manage to successfully coordinate with each other. The Ethereum, if you'll recall, are the specific group of ethereals who wanted to become like the Void. It turns out that's not actually a big spoiler, it's just, you know, it's a thing. So, I thought it was a big spoiler because I was an idiot. So that was, they were making this big deal here with this one little quest, and they're only mentioned this one little time because they were negotiating with Malygos to use the focusing iris to be able to safely convert them into the Void. And we'll see the results of that in Legion. So, let's talk about this a little bit here. This used to have a ley line right here. As you can see, it's been redirected. That's actually what these things do. You see this wonderful little thing? These are called surge needles. They are a device of Malygos' own invention, and are heavily ruined and heavily enchanted, and they pretty much redirect energy. So this violet thing here, I kind of wish Deutsch was on, because he was the one giving me good reactions for this. But yeah, as I mentioned back in Borean Tundra, the cracks we were seeing there were nothing. Over here, this is where this starts to get really bad. We start to see just how much the terrain is being cracked into by these ley lines being redirected. You could quite literally follow where the ley line has been redirected here. See all this? Right, I should go turn that in really quick before I forget. And of course I will, Probe. Why wouldn't I? I mean, unless I'm dead or something. You have my deepest gratitude, Valvaxis. If you haven't already, you should alert your betters to the danger the Blue Dragonflight has unleashed. By blowing apart the ley line anchor beneath the gardens, they threaten to destroy pretty much the entire world. I still don't know exactly what's up with Khadgar. It's possible he's just following his own plot arc, and it's leading him in a similar direction to, you know, Medivh or Arthas or whatever. Also, hi, Shadow. Hey, what's up? Hope you're excited for Twilight Princess HD. It's coming out next week. I know you're going to be right up the first line to get that. So, here's the High Chieftain of the Tonka. They actually have him imprisoned here as sort of a demoralizing effect. You know, that's true, Cloudy. I get the feeling that Khadgar isn't actually a villain, though. That's my interpretation of the way he acts in Warlords, and probably in Legion. And that is because of the fact that I think he's not evil, I think he's renegade, to use the Mass Effect term. I think he doesn't give a damn about niceties or formalities or trying to deal with little things like, you know, bruised egos or whatever, when we've got the fate of the world at stake. He cares about making things happen, you know? Wow, Permeus. I agree, Progue. Absolutely. Like I said. So I think he is definitely going to be an ends justify the means kind of a guy. We already saw that in Warlords. He was willing to do some pretty shady stuff in Warlords. And I'm not just talking about the torture. He is also quite reckless, which is adding to that same vibe. Well, that's true. The real Medivh was actually quite an awesome guy, and held back Sargeras for way longer than he really should have been able to. Oh, excellent. A tome built out of flesh. Shadow, as a scholar, if you came across a book that was made out of flesh, would you burn it? Just curious. You got it, Darker. Here's Gul'dan's skull. Why'd you need that again? I mean, I'm sure it's nothing. You think they're going to actually announce anything worth a damn Zagon? I hope they are. But... No, it's just a book made out of flesh. They got several in the Scourge. If you'll remember, we already actually found one on the Alliance. The best thing to make a tome of evil secrets out of? A Hello Kitty diary. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, that's so funny that you're making fun. No, what I mean by that is something really innocuous. Something really simple and innocent looking. They would never suspect this ancient evil tome out of something that just looks like a diary or something. See, Eros has the right of it. Yeah, the Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Sun thing is pretty likely, I'd say, at this point. I would put like a 60% chance likelihood on that one. Seriously, no one would read it. No one would suspect anything. You could just have some kids trade the book around to get it where it needs to go. Like, what is that? What do you have in your possession? Are you harboring dark magics? Oh, you just have a Hello Kitty diary and some Hello Kitty... And like, all the cultists would actually have Hello Kitty paraphernalia on them. So it wouldn't look unusual. It wouldn't be out of place. And they'd wear, like, normal-looking clothes and completely ordinary stuff. They'd just be like, yep, hey, what's up? What? I like the show. I don't care what other people think. Or My Little Pony. There you go. There's another one for the more modern age, because Hello Kitty's kind of fallen out of vogue. So, a My Little Pony... you know, outfit with, like, with like pencils and erasers with My Little Pony stuff, and like a frozen eraser or ruler or something like that. And then of course the book of Unmitigated Evil, which has a a My Little Pony cover or whatever. Yes, the bronies are actually the cult of the damned, guys. Sorry for breaking Rosetta's stone on that one. All I know is Hello Kitty had an MMO, and it was terrible. Nice, Sir Arthur. Yes, okay, this way. Friendship really was magic, guys. You thought they were kidding. Hey, buddy.
Hail.
My father still lives. We must save him. I cannot do it alone. You must help me. They have my father bound by magical chains in the middle of Ice Mist Village. From what I've been able to gather, the prison is controlled by 3 powerful Anubar magi, each holding a piece of the key. Scour Ice Mist. Locate the magi. Kill them. Take their fragments. Retribution will come swiftly. $5 million, Starch Monster. Hey, Kamek. Now you must play Dragon Age 2, The Letdowninator. And hey, Tyke Moisten. Excuse me. That sounds an awful lot like several fandoms I could name reach. Sonic. Doctor Who. Oh, excuse me. Looks like he's not spawned at the moment. Yeah, I have to admit, even as someone who absolutely loves Undertale and sings its praises, some of the fans just make me go, what the heck, you know?
Peace, friend.
Yes, this will work. Here it is, Paladin. There. Oh, I was right the first time. You must hurry, Valvaxus. Take the key and use it to unchain my father from the Anubar prison. Once he is freed, assist him in destroying the leader, Underking Anubit Khan. There we go. When the Underking is defeated, take from his chitinous carapace a fragment as a trophy to present to the Horde at Agmar's hammer. Let Agmar see the might of the High Chieftain.
Farewell.
Wow, Kamek. Alright, let's do it. Let's free this guy. Leroy, as they say. I am free! What have they done to my people? You will face the full fury of the ancestors for what you have done, monster. Your freedom will be short-lived, Ice Mist.
Rebirth comes, my brothers. Rise and fight once more, for I know mass resurrection. Long before we gave it to the players. And give you this awesome buff. For the Ice Mist, for the Tonka! Insolent mortal, you will be consumed. So he literally he jumps up there and knocks the crypt lord down off of it into the area below. Also, totem weapons. Why do we still not have totem weapons in this game? We've been wanting it since vanilla. Down you go. For the Horde. That is correct, Sonic. It is not easy, and it's not always going to work. But resurrection is something that is possible in lore. Possible. I want to stress that word for a moment. It's kind of like resurrection exists in Dungeons and Dragons, to use a weird parallel. I mean, you can resurrect in D&D, but you can't just resurrect anyone. And you can't just resurrect easily and often, and it costs. So that's why, you know, war and death and long-term horrors are still a problem in D&D. That's true, Night Forge. So it's the same concept in Warcraft. I couldn't just res anyone in lore. Unless I was the Lich King. But that's not really resing.
Strength and honor.
It actually, there are a few rules about it, Sonic Doctor. For example, first and foremost, their soul needs to be free, so it can't be contained in any way. It also has to be willing to come back to life, which is not always a thing.
Farewell.
Furthermore, the amount of energy required to resurrect them varies based on how damaged they are, and... wow, Bragwin. And so, there's a bunch of other little factors. I don't feel like going into all of them, but long and the short of it is, it depends on the individual circumstances, Sonic. So...
Loktar!
We have crushed them by land. Soon we will crush them by air. They have seen the might of the Horde by land. Now they must feel it from the air. I want you to report to Valnok Windranger at once. You will find him here in Agmar's Hammer.
Go with honor.
Well, very well, but first I need to turn in a couple of other quests.
Loktar!
These are useless. These are in excellent condition. I'll get to work right away.
May your blades
Yes, good
never
luck
dull.
working with Serenite, you freak. Okay, in the interest of fairness, he doesn't know. He doesn't understand what he's doing. He doesn't get how crazy and stupid it is.
What do you need?
He was the first of those sissy spellcasters to betray us, and he certainly won't be the last. Damn shame, too. He was one of our best mages. He'd summon a buffet that would make your mouth water and your heart jump for joy. Ah!
Strength.
Oh, right.
Draw.
Savages bound in orc flesh. This language, its existence has never been proven. This is the language of death. There is one who recently joined our cause that might be able to decipher this tome. An unbound death knight known as Kultira Deathweaver has temporarily taken residence here at Agmar's Hammer. As he was once a death knight of Arthas and a member of the Scourge, he might be able to translate this. Take the flesh-bound tome to Kultira and translate the pages.
Dabu.
Actually, it is Sonic Doctor, but it cannot resurrect you from the dead, only from severely damaged. Downed is what it's actually usually referred to as. There is such a thing as life spells in FF, but they don't always work. Again. Galoof is an excellent example of that.
Blood and thunder.
What is it, Valvaxis? I am extremely busy. You are a brave paladin, Valvaxis. You've done the Horde a great service. Like the Tauren, Forsaken, Trolls, and Blood Elves, so do too to the Tonka need a leader born of their own blood. The one you saved from Ice Mist, Roanoke. Bob will be this leader. I give you something familiar. The blood oath of the Horde.
take the oath to Bob Ice Mist and initiate them into a horde as leader of the Tonka.
For the Horde.
So this quest right here is another reason why a lot of people, myself included, really thought they'd do more with the Tonka in the future. We literally joined them in, and the quest flat out says these are coming in as equals alongside the Forsaken and the Blood Elves and the Tauren and the Trolls, and yet we never hear from the Tonka again. But anyways, hey.
I've been expecting you.
Greetings, High Chief. Would you do me the honor of accepting my invitation to join the Horde as an official member and leader of the Tonka?
It would be an honor to battle alongside a brother of the Horde.
If it is you who honor me, High Chief, please read from the scroll. It is the Oath of Allegiance.
Go in peace.
Gather, brothers and sisters. Loktar Ogar, victory or death. It is these words that bind me to the Horde, for they are the most sacred and fundamental truths of any warrior of the Horde. I give my flesh and blood freely to my war chief. I am the instrument of my war chief's desire. I am the weapon of my war chief's command. From this moment until the end of days, I live and die for the Horde. For my Tonka brother and sisters, for the Horde! For the Horde, 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 for the Horde. Wait, was there a gnome in there? Nah, it's fine.
Loktar.
With the aid of such powerful shaman, we are sure to be victorious at the Wrathgate.
Go with honor.
Yep, we are definitely going to be victorious at the Wrathgate. Culture and a little bit of biological differences, Iroquois. Mostly culture, though.
Loktar.
So you're the hotshot, huh? No doubt you've seen the army of Anubarak beasts that are constructed at Ice Mist Village. The Anubarak have plans to send those monsters against our soldiers at the Wrathgate. This cannot happen. Venture to Ice Mist Village with this flare gun and use it to call down one of my war riders. Climb on its back and command it to destroy the Blight Beasts. Oh, okay, I can do that. Thought I could do that.
What do you need?
I can't do that. It's over. Oh, right. I need the right. Forgot how that works out. Before we do that, though, why don't we go turn in the mage quest?
State your business.
Have you prevented the accord between the Blue Dragonflight and the Ethereum?
We don't, Nerozaz. We never do.
It's alright, Paladin. Just put them down on the ground in front of Agmar's throne. Unfortunate that Goromash indicated the accord had already been reached. Don't worry. We won't have to deal with that until the Legion expansion, so we're fine for now.
Lorerun, the dark times will pass.
What do you have there? Valvaxis, if I'm not mistaken, you've uncovered the key to allow us to discern exactly what the Mage Hunter forces are up to. This is a teleportation device. If I had to say, I'd guess it leads to the Surge Needle above the Moonrest Gardens in the southwest. Valvaxis, I need you to use it and investigate what's up there. It appears the device works both ways, so you shouldn't have to jump off. I expect that once you teleport up, there will be some sort of apparatus on it to observe. You should be able to use the teleporter from anywhere in the gardens.
Keep your wits about you.
Don't forget the Ebon Blade, Raskor. And of course the player characters. But yeah, the Alliance and the Horde did not carry us to Icecrown.
Get on with it.
No, you don't understand, Nerozaz. The Alliance and the Horde lost at the Wrathgate. Utterly, completely devastating loss. And as they don't recover until Kata, basically. And even then, that's debatable. Because they just start fighting each other from that point on. The Alliance and the Horde do not recover from the Wrathgate. Not throughout Wrath. Not at all. There's a reason none of the zones from this point on have any strong Alliance or Horde presence. Not counting the little tidbit in Grizzly Hills, of course. There are only two things that interest me in life, Peon, and neither of them involve translating a Scourge tome for you. However, perhaps we could work something out that would benefit both of us. This is my rune blade, Bifrost. Bifrost thirsts for the blood of the Lich King and his minions.
But first I must etch upon it runes of power, symbols of frost, blood, and unholy. Bring me suitable sources of power, and I will translate your tone. They don't, Nero's ass. Don't you get it? They don't.
There's work to be done.
In service of unholy. The power of unholy is coveted amongst my kind. It makes up the very fiber of our existence, granting death to those that dare make a mockery of it. Thankfully, there is a font from which I may draw in my time of need. Take this unholy gem and make your way to the Ruby Dragon Shrine east of here. There you will find Duke Valenhall, Death Knight of Arthas. Weaken his resolve in battle, and unleash the power of the gem upon him. It will finish him off and steal his unholy energy.
Ashes to ashes.
The biting cold protects the Death Knight while repelling his enemies. He that commands the power of frost can incite chaos and destruction. Take this frost gem and travel far across the open tundra of the Dragonblight until you come across the Mirror of Dawn, east of Wormrest Temple. It is there that you are to battle the legions of ice revenants that dwell upon the lake's surface and take of their essence of frost. Utilize the power of the gem when they are weak, Valdaxis.
We will have our revenge.
The blood of innocence was once used to sate the thirst of the blade. Alas, such options are no longer available to me. We must improvise. South of here, upon the high bluffs, is the Tuskar village of the Indule. Having been recently overrun by the Blue Dragonflight's chaotic magic, the resident Tuskar of Indule have gone mad. Take this blood gem and use it on a deranged villager. If I cannot have the blood of innocence, I shall have the blood of the meek!
We are done here.
Exactly, Nero's ass. That's why Wrath was the first expansion where we really became the central focus. In Outland, we were still just another one of the army. Elite, but still one of the army. In Wrath, we pretty much become the heroes. In Kata, we pretty much become the champions. In Pandaria, we pretty much become the guys. And in Warlords, we actually become the generals in charge of things. But anyways. Alright! Flying quests. Yay! I kid. I actually don't mind flying quests. Machine gun fire. I call it the pepper them with firepower strategy. So one of the things that I kind of wish, and obviously they'll never do this, but I know, I get it. I get why they don't do this. I get that it's not realistic. I get that actually making, you know, class quests is really, really inefficient time use of the developers, and the developers are already having trouble keeping up with the demand for content. Okay, I get that. I do get that. But I really wish we had more class-specific quests back. A lot of some of my favorite quests, especially from the old days, were the specific class quests. The Warlock quests, the Paladin quest, the Blackfire stuff, which was added in Pandaria, the old Mage quests where you had to go and earn your different polymorphs or the different spells, the Warrior quests where you make your super weapons of awesome, you know, all that fun stuff. I really enjoyed that. I mentioned this because one of this actually, oh, I'm done. This kind of comes up here. We have a quest to go empower a rune blade with frost, unholy, and blood. Wouldn't it be cool if we actually had a quest like that to do on our Death Knights? Like, we could go and select, and in the interest of, like, I mean, this would literally never happen, but in, like, Fantasyland, wouldn't it be cool if we had a quest to empower our rune blade with frost? But it's not just like one thing. We go do this and we get frost power. Like, we get options. We could go use this power, or use this power, or maybe draw on this. And depending on what you draw upon changes what the actual runes can do. Maybe gives you a different abilities or different ways that certain abilities function. You know, that kind of a thing. Wouldn't that be cool? Completely unrealistic, I get it, but God, that would be cool. Anyways, so what do we got here? Zoom, zoom, zoom. Remember, I'm a blood elf, so I'm just like, oh, yes. Fill me with your arcane power. Ahem. That would be very appropriate, Darge. Okay, I can't do that quest yet. And I probably shouldn't do that quest yet. So let's do this one. Yeah, the Felsteed, which was the quest that a lot of people did. And the Dreadsteed, which is a quest like 5 people did. But still awesome. Still some really cool stuff. I actually did the Paladin Mount quest back in Vanilla, as I've discussed before. But yeah, as Cloudy points out, they would have to pull but time and money budget out of something else to make that happen. And that's the unfortunate reality. Now, that being said, I still think it would be cool, once I invent time travel, to be like, here, Blizz, just take infinite time and make this awesome. And they were like, okay.
Glory to the Sindori.
What you're describing, that's a projection of the Arcanomicon. His show of concern is quickly masked behind an impassive countenance. The Arcanomicon is a map of all the magical ley line intersections in the world. The Blue Dragonflight has been using it to find and destroy ley line anchors to send the magical power back to the Nexus. Question, why is the path of destruction leading east when it should be leading west instead? Each Mage Hunter force are active on the glittering strand to the south of the Moonrest Gardens. My guess is you'll find a heavily guarded focus on the beach and a captain who's in charge of it. No doubt the captain of the force down there will have some sort of controlling device. Get the controller and use it on the focus. With any skill on your part, we'll be able to get some information about what they're really up to out there.
The reckoning is at hand.
Magraw.
And now they've been crushed by air. Perhaps you too will be called to Angrathar soon, hero.
May your blades never
I
dull.
doubt it. I will never go to Angrathar. For the horror, Grathar. What? Ugh. You'll notice I'm deliberately doing the quest in a certain order. Because I feel the story is better presented in this particular path. God, I don't think I'm going to finish Dragonblight today. I'm nowhere. Whatever. I am terrible. Let's see. Hey there, what's up? And you're dead. The dumbest boss in terms of lore? Probably Garrosh Hellscream. He was really, really, really dumb. I would put him below some of the rock creatures that don't actually have intelligence. Or the animal bosses, which don't actually have sentience or sapience. Yes, Great Oaf. And in fact, they are. Once they are reconnected to the light and no longer have to artificially generate that connection. Once the Sunwell was reignited, they had no problems with that. Do I have... Where is it? I must have zipped by it. I was looking for the achievement for Epic Flight Form, which I've done. And yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have it, obviously.
Our enemies will fall.
How very odd it imprinted this information on you magically. So not only do we know that they're redirecting the flow of power coming from the Mooncrest Gardens, but now we know the power's being purposely changed in some way. Just what are they doing with all that magic? I don't know. I don't like where this is leading, Valvaxis. I am convinced there must be more to these foci, each of them in turn redirecting the leyline energies. We still don't know precisely what they're doing with all that power, though. My guess is you'll find another one atop Lothlar Woods to the south. Once again, you'll need to find the person in charge and take whatever controlling device they have in their possession, as I'm sure each focus has its own.
Farewell.
Fire vegan food? I'm confused. Darker, the only reasonable answer I could give to that is because they either didn't know it was there, or didn't feel like they could try to take it over. Especially when they had the Netherstorm at their disposal. I mean, really, why would you want the Nexus when you have an entire zone just in the Nether?
What brings you here?
The ancients of the Lothlar Woods to the south are being corrupted by the arcane worms. Worms which have risen out of the ground. Those that are already corrupted are deadly and of no use to us, but most can be saved. Luckily, the treants of the woods seem to be immune to everything happening up there. Ask the treants for their bark, and when you get some, feed it to the ancients. This should strengthen them. Now leave me to my business. I have to keep an eye on these apothecaries.
We shall...
I don't know, it's a shame. I was really hoping to show off to Deutsch just how bad the arcane leyline cracks got. But alas, it is not to be. You might be like, what do you mean? This is a wonderful, pure, completely untainted by massive amounts of arcane energy area, right? I mean, just, you know, totally normal and completely ordinary. This is what it's supposed to look like. Right? Right. Okay, good. We're on the same page here. I like how there's literally just pockets of arcane energy just literally erupting from the ground here or there. I would really wish this was like done in a setting where you could show off properly, just and every now and again you just see a chunk of arcane energy flare up through the snow and then recede back below it. That would just be really cool looking. Ah, thank you for the bark. Here. Hey. Whoops. Okay, not what I meant to do. Alright, leave me alone. Oh, God. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Please stop beating the crap out of me. I'm not wearing much armor. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why are you still following? Oh, okay, he's done. He's done. Whew. Hey, Thrace. Thanks, I think. Appreciate the thoughts. Alright, here. Be saved. That's what I thought. Let's see if we can get our next piece of bark easily. No. He tries to kill me. We'll have to take his bark a little more forcibly. Look, I just want your bark, okay? That's all I want. Thank you. Thank you. Whew, I appreciate your cooperation in these trying times. I'm sorry, but the idea of arcane-infused snow just really disturbs me for some reason. I don't know how to properly explain that. As I tried to emphasize back when we were going through the Nexus area, arcane-infused anything, especially when it's not being done deliberately, so just, like, dumping raw arcane energy into something pretty much always is bad. In a really bad way. Look, I gave him plenty of lotion. I don't see what the issue is. God, look at this place. This whole place is just freaking ruined by the arcane power that's... Look at this. Look at this. This used to be a pristine, snowy wonderland. And now it's just got pockets of arcane gunk running through it. Damn it, Malygos. You know what the best part is? This near permanent damage that's being done to the terrain is being done for a temporary advantage. Not that I want to skip ahead in the story a bit, but that's, yeah. As we'll find out, that's why all of this is happening. At least all of this over here. Let's see. What do we got here? Where is he? Where is he? Where are you, my troll friend? There you are. Lieutenant Tazzini. So his last words as he dies are, do you know my sister? Tazzini die now. And we find a letter on him. You find a letter lined secreted in the linings of his robes. It reads, Dino, Tazzini's sorry for disappearing on ya. If you be reading this letter, then I be dead. I be forced to work for Malygos's armies under threat that my family would be killed if I didn't. Tazzini wasn't gonna let that happen. Don't you worry about me, you just keep the kids safe. Whoops. You just keep the kids safe. I have them food, and I'm sabotaging them from the inside. I love you, sister. Sincerely, Tazzini. If you remember yesterday, we discussed what could possibly convince any given individual to join Malygos' side, given the sheer insanity of what he's doing. I knew even when I said that about that letter. There's an alliance version of that letter as well. And it's pretty much just as terrible. Malygos' forces were threatening mages and mages' families if they didn't join them. If they didn't side with their forces. So let's turn it into the Overlord.
Strength and honor.
What's this? You think you're gonna mail a letter? All mail goes through me first. There are spies and traitors amongst us.
He gives you a once-over, and you wonder if he's gonna have you killed on the spot.
Very well. Be quick about it. But if I don't like what I read, I'm gonna feed you to my wargs. Boo-hoo-hoo! How touching!
The condensation of the Overlord's deep-throated laugh is palpable.
What did I say? Traitors! Still, I knew Dina once upon a time. She, at least, is a troll with honor. I'll see to it that she finds out what happened to her brother. I'll even forget to tell her you're the one that killed him. But I own you now, Paladin, because I'm a bastard.
Anubilore Delana.
They're empowering their forces with the Ley Hunter? With the Ley Line? That doesn't make any sense at all. The Mage Hunters aren't that powerful. This must mean they're only using the magic at the terminus of whatever they're redirecting it to. I'm going to need more information if we're going to devise a plan to stop them. I'm certain that you'll find the next ley line focused somewhere in the remains of Indole village to the southeast. The problem is I've had absolutely no reports of there being anyone there. I need you to go investigate for signs of the Mage Hunter. Go!
Lorerun.
Very well. But before we do that, a serrated, dull one. Before we do that, we should turn in a quest that I forgot we had. Hey, you.
The winds guide you.
You have my thanks, Paladin. As soon as I am done observing what these disgusting apothecaries are up to, I'll head to the woods and see if I can't convince the ancients to side with us. Or if nothing else, convince them not to attack those that saved them.
Walk with the earth.
But it's occurred to me, after we helped the Tuskar in the Borean Tundra, and after we helped the Tuskar in the Howling Fjord, we really should report in to the Tuskar capital city, shouldn't we? See how they're doing? Well, I get that one, Permeus, but, I mean, how could I not? Farewell, Darker. May the arcane winds be at your back and convert you into a nightmarish horror of arcane power. So this is kind of neat. There's an envoy from the Horde and an envoy from the Alliance. Now, spoiler alert, as I've already mentioned, in lore, the Tuskar actually end up joining the Horde, even though that hasn't had an effect on basically anything after this point in time. We see, like, what, 3 Tuskar from this point on? But I find it funny, because they still function as a neutral power in Northrend.
Let us visit for a while.
What's that you say, Blood Elf? A Nugiak sent you? Good, good. There's much we can do. We can use all the help we can get.
Visit again.
Love his
when
mustache,
you
by the
can.
way. Look at that sucker. His mustache and his eyebrows are amazing.
Your company is welcome.
The Wolvar have always been our natural enemies, but the incursion of your people to the great Dragonblight has forced them into a small space upon the glade to the north. Combined with the land's upheaval this morning, they have become more aggressive than ever before. They have made several raids on our goods, things we'll need if we are to survive the trek from our home here. As a sign of good faith and friendship, retrieve our goods from the Snowball Glade Warvar.
Good hunting.
I can totally do that for you, sir. Also, I would support Tuskar playable race. Just saying. And Tonka. And Wolvar. And... oh, wait. I'm getting greedy now, aren't I? It would be kind of cool if they could make it so that basically... I know it would be a hellacious amount of work, but if the art design team could just unleash a flurry of new races that are playable, you know? Don't really give them powerful racial benefits. Maybe don't even give them any racial benefits. Just remove the stat from the equation. Just, I want to play a Wolvar. I want to play a Gerlach, for example. I want to play a Tuskar. I want to play a Tonka. I want to play a Nerubian, you know. But it would be a hellacious amount of work because you have to do a lot of art design work on the models themselves, and then be able to set up all their animations for everything they need to be doing and everything they ever need to be doing in the future, because there's a lot of vehicle stuff that interacts with them. And then you need to be able to map basically every piece of armor in the entire game to their bodies, and so forth and so on. The Oracles are the Gerlachs that I mentioned earlier. And yeah, the Vrykul, another good example. Possible Zagoten, but that would only work if all of the armor was designed with that algorithm in mind. And at the moment, it is not. Now, they could go back and redo all the existing armor to add such points of reference to it, and then use those in order and that system henceforth. But that would again be a fairly large amount of work. Although it would be one of those once ever amounts of work. That would be cool, Nicolas. And I agree with the sub-race concept. Now, as far as what Nicolas says, or not Nicolas, excuse me, Nightforger, I don't actually really think we need that much additional customization options for the actual appearances of the characters. Because we already have plenty of customization options for the appearances of our characters. It's called Transmog. Because that's what we're actually wearing, damn it. I mean, I'm sorry, I like character customizations as much as anyone else, but it all becomes meaningless drivel once you layer yourself in tons of armor. It's the armor that's really important, as far as aesthetics. No. The thing I would be totally okay with, however, is the sub-races thing. Being able to be, you know, a wretched elf, or a blood elf, or a high elf, or a fell elf, and I think that's basically it. You know, something like that, I would be hugely in favor of.
I will hear you.
The natural balance has been tipped over and over of late. I hope you'll be able to help us survive the upheaval of our way of life. I will not say I am pleased to ask you to do such things on our behalf. It is all we can do to prepare for our departure, although we do not know where we can go. My sorcerers tell me that you are here to save the land from he who walks in shadow. I trust you will save the peoples of the land as well. Already it goes from bad to worse. There is only one course to take. Regrettably, Logan must die. He's the alpha male of the Snowfall Glade tribe, and one mean Wolvar. But it's the only way to get a short break from their attacks and stealing forays. You will find the render of flesh in front of his hovel. It's larger than the others and hard to miss. Kill him. Smear his blood upon yourself to show dominance and respect.
May your nets always be full.
So, this is Logan, the werewolf. I mean, the Wolverine. I mean, the Wolvar.
You might be like, Arsh, dude, you're just taking it too far. Well, hang on, I gotta kill this guy really quick. Goodbye, Gigantar. I like how they wield Vrykul weapons. I just picture a Magnetar fighting Vrykul for their weapons because they can't actually defeat them. So anyways, yeah, he actually is wielding claws. Just to really emphasize. He may be good at what he does, but what he does isn't good. Why am I in combat? Are you in combat with me? No. What am I in combat with? Yeah, that Magnetar was fairly large, even by Magnetar standards. Oh, right, I need to smear his blood. Smear, smear, smear. There we go. It's all about the fact that they don't want to look naked, Night Forager. Come on, dude. You really want to see a naked centaur? Is that really what you want? Because if it is, then, you know, I'm not here to judge, but take that over there, man. We don't want to hear about that. We don't like your kind here.
You have my attention.
Logan's honorable sacrifice at your hands is exactly what my people need. Now we will make the most of the Wolvar infighting for his place. It will have to be enough.
Travel the wastes with care.
I will try to. But first, I will do some other Moaki quests.
May I help?
Blood Elf, we have not heard from our people at Indule village since the ground shook and was torn apart. Have you ever been on a vision quest? You've bested Logan, so you must be capable. I will give you special incense to sprinkle into my brazier. Breathe deep from its vapors, and your spirit will be sent aloft to view what has transpired.
Hukgara Aklika.
Maybe there's nothing to be seen, Night Forager.
You have my attention.
With all the troubles, I've lost my assistance. I was hoping you could help me. I have many crab traps under the waves of the harbor. Will you retrieve them for me? I am too old for that thing, and the waters could be very dangerous.
Travel the wastes with care.
Oh, wow. Kezika? Kezika? I don't know how to say that. Oh, better drink from the bladder. Nom, 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 tasty bladder. Wait, I was supposed to breathe from it? Oh, crap. This crab trap appears to have been destroyed by something much larger than the nearby circling sharks. Perhaps... Oh, it's the turtle. Perhaps Tuaki, the fisherman, should be told about this. Okay, I can do that. By the way, just to get a little bit of cultural insight into this, the fact that these Tuskar are asking us to basically fish for them is a huge deal, culturally speaking. First of all, it's a huge sign of respect and trust that they're placing in us, that they are willing to place their livelihood of their fishing gains upon us. Second, it's kind of a big showing of just how desperate they've become at this point in time, thanks to all the horrible dangers that have happened lately. But third, and most importantly of all, it's a chance for us to really prove ourselves to them. In my mind, the Horde characters are the ones who actually go through the Tuskar villages, not the Alliance. In lore, I mean. Even though it is, of course, a neutral hub, it really helps to explain why the Tuskar would so willingly join the Horde. Because all that we do for them is the kind of stuff like this here, for example, that would resonate with the Tuskar culturally
basically forever. Just wait until you're wielding the Doom Hammer, G-Juice. Also, I have Seal Whey, which sounds really gross, actually. I mean, if you think about it, that's not really tasty sounding. I'm not really a fan of curds or whey, so, I mean, yeah. So one other thing I want to kind of point out, obviously Northrend used to be part of the unified continent, but you can more or less directly figure out where Northrend was connected based off of a couple of little geological things. In fact, it kind of helps add a little bit of insight to certain things. For example, remember the other day I mentioned I wasn't certain if the Titans actually empowered the aspects based on the information that was revealed about Galakrond? Well, it turns out they did actually empower them, and that actually happened, obviously, a long, long time before the Sundering. What does this have to do with Northrend's position, you ask? Well, you see those ruins out there that are kind of leading off in that direction? And there you go. You see more of that. You see that right there? Here, let me get you a better position to really emphasize what I'm talking about. Give me a moment. Go faster. The good news is, in one more level, I'll be able to get even faster flying. So there's Wormrest, right? The actual location where they empowered the aspects to be the aspects. This was the Big Titan Road. It actually leads all the way up to Ulduar. It's in pieces because of the Sundering. The Well of Eternity used to be basically right here. I mean, obviously not literally right at the edge of the coast, but if you were to follow this path, if it was still there to its logical conclusion, that's where you'd find the Well of Eternity. So, just a little bit of a fun little lore, or a geological reference there. Hey, Call Me Shu. Thank you for the kind thoughts. I assume you mean the Arthas the Lich King book, which is a really good one. Probably my favorite of the Warcraft books, actually. Honestly, if I'm being completely sincere, most of the Warcraft books are actually not my thing, because I'm not a huge fan of Knack's writing style. No, the well was in the center of the world, Prog. I mean, here, look, see? The well was like right here, so push that down and you can see why that lines up basically 1-to-1 there. I can't really recommend any other books off the top of my head, I'm sorry. I mean, there are other ones that are decent or tolerable, but like War Crimes isn't bad, it's just not a lot happens during it, for example. I think the ice was built up around it, personally, Permeus.
Your company is welcome.
I managed to get your crabs for you.
Stay warm.
That's not the news I wanted to hear. No, it's good you told me, but I fear my old nemesis has returned to these waters. I'm sure of it. Our ancient aquatic nemesis, how the hell do you pronounce that? Tuugwar, he who plays with food, has returned. We must lay a trap for him, you and I. If Tuugwar has one weakness, it's his stomach. There's one meat for certain he'd never be able to pass up. 2 huge pinchers, the mother of all crabs, Kilua, paces upon her island out in the waters to the southwest. Pay her a visit, return with her meat.
May your nets always be.
And here's 2 huge pincers. And there was 2 huge pincers. Apparently he has very succulent meat. Hey look, it's Tuugwar. He who plays with food. You can see him in the water under there. Quickly.
Who is this that speaks?
You were able to slay Kilua. Perhaps you'll be able to do the same to God, how do you pronounce it? Tuugwar. The time has come, my friend. Tuugwar must be dealt with.
I've prepared the meat, so the beast is sure to come once you bait the hook I have in the water. Just follow the fishing line down to it. Whatever you do, don't let him swallow you whole, Valvaxis.
Good hunting.
There's some good short stories of WoW stuff, but they're all over the place, and most of them are on the Blizzard site. The short stories tend to be better because they're just telling cracks in the stories, filling in gaps that they really shouldn't bother to spend a lot of time and attention on camera, you know what I mean? And that's a good thing, and I like that. I tend to read basically all of the short stories for WoW. Like that whole thing about Sylvanas basically blackmailing the Blood Elves into going to Northrend, that was a short story. Valen learning a bit about humility, and Anduin trying to convince Valen to help the refugees of the Cataclysm, that's a short story. The one where Sylvanas kills herself, a very important story, and incredibly important for understanding her character motivations. Short story. Yeah, some people thought she just kind of went crazy after Wrath, but that short story literally explains everything about why she acts the way she does. Oh god, turtle! Turtle! Oh god, get away from the turtle! Get away from the turtle! Okay, we're okay. We're okay, guys. We got away from the turtle. Whew. Close one.
Let us visit for a while.
We shall rejoice at your success, my young friend. There is blood in the water, and it is our enemies. You have the eternal gratitude of this old fisherman, and almost certainly spread news to all the all the Kaluak. Oh,
Visit again
Ding.
when you can.
Level 80. Level 80 and the Dragonblight. This is ridiculous. Yeah, let's get a ding with our Tuskar friend, shall we? I have just earned a lot of titles. Holy crap. Oh my god, I just got a lot of things. Wow. Okay, what do we get? That's our mastery. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, that's that. Yep, yep. Yep, that's great. A bunch of dungeons unlocked. Oh, god. Lots of stuff. We should be the Astral Walker, or the Bane of the Fallen King. We could also be the Light of Dawn now. Oh, I think we're done. Okay, okay. Level 80, ding! Hanging out with my Tuskar homies. Alright. Let us have a vision quest. Breathe deep. I feel like I am floating over the lands, with my legs spread unnaturally wide, as if this is a bug that's been in the game for some months now. You've successfully freed your spirit. You can serve as my eyes. Together we'll get to the bottom of this. Let's just pretend I'm not there. I should actually be a wisp right now, basically. Yes, yes, good, good. That's true, Permeus. We can go ahead and do Ambassador. Bzz. Ambassador Valvaxis. It's appropriate, too, given who Valvaxis is in lore. Oh, actually, Tamazot, but whatever. You're coming up in the village now. Keep your eyes peeled. There's one in Warlords that's a little bit better, just barely. And then, of course, there's the artifact one in Legion, but otherwise, no. What's happened to the lake bed? Strange energy pours out of it. You can see it's affecting the shoreline there, coloring it. No, no! My people are spirits or deranged! Of course I have Master of the Ways. What kind of question is that? Bam. Elder Manaloa, the statue there, sees you. This is a good sign. Which is good because he's damaged, too. He might actually have been dead if not for the fact... Well, if he got lucky, he might have died from that damage to his statue. As I mentioned back in the Borean Tundra. Come back, Valvaxis. If you're out of your body for too long, you run the risk of not being able to return. We have much to discuss. I love what that's doing to the shoreline, by the way. I want you to imagine you live in a village that's on, like, the outskirts of a lake. And you go to the lake, and, like, the shore is just weird bluish violet. And it's just kind of seeping up from the water. Wouldn't that be just creepy as hell? And you have no idea what's doing it, too, so you're just like... These people have no concept of what's doing this at all. Of course, they didn't really have a chance to react to it.
What troubles you?
Ghost and gibbering madness? This cannot be. We must seek further guidance. My people. He seems to be on the verge of breaking down. When your spirit was flying through the village, I sensed the elder Manaloa take notice of you. Valvaxis, he wishes to speak with you. The stone elders are revered. Yes, I know who they are.
Stay warm.
I helped build some, sort of. Come on, let's go. Master of the Ways is given by mastering all of the Pandaren cooking stuff. Like, all of it. And then you get Master of the Ways for doing everything. At least I think so. So now we'll do these quests that we've been kind of holding off on here. Have to admit, I'm almost glad none of these Tuskar, yes it is Ricky, had the ability to react to what's happened to them here. I've been expecting you, Blood Elf. I saw your spirit fly by and sensed the mystic watching behind your eyes. Your fate and that of the Kaluak are now tied together. The sacred ground of the elves to the west has been torn asunder. Now their magic is moving through the land, causing ruin where it goes. The souls of the Kaluak are in danger as the blue dragons' forces attempt to control the magic. The power came up through the lake, instantly slaying most of the village. Those that survived were driven insane. Valvaxis, you must release these spirits so they may move on. Leave the deranged living alone. They may regain their sanity in time. Well, unfortunately, I have to actually kill one of them. So, I'm terribly sorry about that. Hey, the Tuskar are not stupid. They're frickin' awesome. Have you not seen their mustaches, sir? One of the things I like about this series of quest arc is it really helps to put a little bit more of a personal touch on exactly how screwed up, well, not personal, but a more down-to-earth touch on how screwed up what the Blue Dragonflight is doing. We saw the personal touch with that letter from the troll. That was the personal touch. This is showing us how villages are being wiped out, of innocent people who have no idea what's going on. They're not fighting the Scourge. They're not a part of the 30%. They're not a part of the Blue Dragonflight. They're not, they're not doing anything at all that would indicate that they deserve to be wiped out simply for happening to be here. And that's literally why these people all died. Because they happened to be here. That's it. That's all. That's the motivation. Sorry, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And get off my bar. Now, if you don't know what I mean by location, let me go ahead and make it clear. So you could see the previous ley line focus right there, right ahead of me. And it's leading the ley line in this direction. So to keep the ley line going that way, they had two choices, the Blue Dragonflight. They could have made another ley line focus like there and one over there and gone around. Or they could have said, screw it! And go straight through the village, which is what they did. Now, on the one hand, Malygos' forces are basically trying to destroy the entire planet. So I suppose they might not care too much about the lives of the people they are annihilating in their path. But that really says a lot for how bad the Blue Dragonflight forces, Malygos' forces specifically, have gotten at this point in time. Now, to make one thing clear, similar to how not every Blood Elf supported Kael'thas and his demon-running ways, not every Blue Dragon supports Malygos and his I want to destroy the world ways. However, unlike the Blood Elves of Silvermoon,
And, you know, the other Blood Elves we see, in other words, there were quite a few Blood Elves that didn't follow Kael'thas. There are, what, 3 blue dragons who do not follow Malygos's mad designs? And after these events, there are very, very few blue dragons left. So, in other words, the vast majority of the blue dragons were totally okay with the Destroy the World plan. Never mind the many, many different mages who were recruited to the cause. Although, again, in fairness, as we saw, the Malygos's forces were literally threatening their lives and their families. Which is really just throws a spotlight onto it. It's not like, join us or die. It's, join us or we'll kill your entire family. That just really... that's just messed up. That's what that is. I don't even know what else to say about that. That is messed up. Not the most pleasant task, but necessary and merciful. No, there's something else you are destined to do for the Kaluak. The watery goddess, Awacha Noah, must be consulted. Only she will know what the destiny of the Kaluak is to be, and only the Pearl of the Depths can call her forth from the murky nether. Off the coast to the southwest lies the briny pinnacle. Atop it sits an altar on which the pearl rests. Commune with the altar, and Awacha Noah is certain to hear your call. Do as she says, lest you incur her wrath and bring ruin upon all the Tuskarr. Unlike some of the creatures we've encountered, like that giant mammoth or the wolf, there is absolutely no denying whatsoever that this creature we're about to interact with is a Loa. A very large and very powerful Loa. So as you can see, like I said, they just decided to say screw it and decided to put their focus in the middle of the lake to go straight through it. And to hell with the consequences of whoever gets caught in the way. I'm sorry, I hate to rehash this point, but in my honest opinion, Malygos's forces here are actually worse than the Scourge. And I mean that sincerely. The Scourge at least have the excuse of basically all being under command of the Lich King, and, you know, the whole we're trying to wipe out all life thing. These guys are actively cruel and disregarding, despite having all of their mental faculties still intact, you know? Of their own free will, they decided to do things like this. You find the corpse of a mage hunter commander here. Judging by his appearance and the condition of the forces around him, you would guess they didn't drown. Rather, they were summoning the focus and they didn't expect the elementals that arose from the rent tears in the lake bed to attack. It appears the mage hunter forces were the architects of their own demise. Within his robes you find 2 things of interest. One is a talisman, which is clearly a focus controlling device. The other is a set of orders from someone named Sidragos, which were ultimately intended for the leader back at Moonrest Gardens. The fragile, water-soaked parchment informs Goromosh that he is to move all Mage Hunter forces to the Azure Dragon Shrine. Whoops. So, one aspect of the Dragonblight that I haven't discussed yet is the Dragon Shrines. Each of the 5 aspects has one spot that is magically empowered with the very essence that they are the aspect of. Each of those shrines, therefore, shines with their particular variety of power. The Malygos's people put that there, Rory. So there's a shrine of magic, a shrine of life, a shrine of the Emerald Dream, a shrine of the earth, and a shrine of time. And those are the various shrines. And each one of them basically is a little pocket of its own self-contained essence. But of course, the blue shrine being the Shrine of Magic, as I just mentioned. So, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I want to go talk to this Loa first. Let's see if we can meet this watery tart from the deeps. I'm sure she's going to be like some beautiful elven maid, or maybe someone who's walking up who's like, I am the maiden of the lake. You know, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what's about to happen. Whoops. Did I do it wrong? Oh, crap, she's not rendering. She's not rendering! Seriously, where is she? Whatever. She's not here. I'm actually really pissed off about that. I'll read her lines in a moment. Where the hell is she? Okay, so she's a kraken. She's this gargantuan kraken who, like, even when coming up out of the water, is basically looking at you from eye level. That's how huge she is. And she's not here. I don't even know what the hell to make of that. But anyways, let's go ahead and read her dialogue. Little Valvaxus, why do you call me forth? Are you working with the trolls of this land? Have you come to kill me and take my power as your own? It's a little bit of foreshadowing, by the way. I sense uncertainty in you, and I do not trust it whether you are with them or not. If you wish my augury for the Kaluak, you will have to prove yourself first. I will lay a mild compulsion about you. Jump into the depths before me, so that you put yourself into my element, and therefore display your submission. So I jump in. Well done, Valvaxus. Your display of respect is duly noted. Now I have information that you must convey to the Kaluak. Simply put, you must tell the Tuskar they cannot run. If they do so, their spirits will be destroyed by the evil rising in Northrend. Tell the mystics that his people are to stand and fight alongside the Horde and Alliance against the forces of Malygos and the Lich King. Now swim back with the knowledge I have granted you. Do what you can for them, Blood Elf.
Let us visit for a while.
You spoke with a what? A Wachanoa? If it was her will we stand with your people, then so be it. Elder Konani will accept this as our destiny for weal or woe. My people believe all souls are one with the magic of the world. We must oppose the Blue Dragon attempts to control magic, or we are all doomed. I never thought a Blood Elf would be the champion of the Kaluak, but you have proven me wrong. On behalf of my people, I give you my thanks, Valvaxus. May the gods smile upon you.
Good hunting!
So, the blue flight, to continue my previous thought process. Oh, by the way, again, that is clearly a Loa based on what she said to us, and based on the way she interacted with us. That was basically a Loa contract that we just did. So, this is the Blue Dragon Shrine. Now, in the interest of fairness, it doesn't normally look like this. As you can see right now, there is a stupid amount of arcane energy pouring out of it because they have actually redirected ley lines to go to the Shrine of Magic. So that's why the ground here is so poisoned and rotten and destroyed. They have literally turned the Shrine of Magic into a weapon. Also, the Shrine of Time is mostly dealing with alterations to time, or more accurately, preventing alterations to time. That's actually its purpose. But I digress. This is the Shrine of Life, by the way. Right here. Also associated with fire, which I find interesting that fire is associated with life, because it makes sense if you think about it. Shrine of Earth is up there. We'll go there later. We'll be doing all the Shrines of Coals. All of them. Alright. Whoop, not doing that yet. I should do this quest first. Hang on. Also, considering the fact that Nozdormu does know the moment of his own death, I suppose that's accurate, Rory. You got that ugly son of a horse, huh? Well, that's one less nuisance our soldiers will have to deal with.
With honor.
Without fire, life couldn't exist, is the point, Rory. Imagine a world in which no heat exists, and then tell me how life would fare.
State your business.
What? The image before you distorts for a moment as the Archmage attempts to regain his composure. I like that. He's actually basically casting a continuous spell to project his form here. He's not actually here. This is Aethys Sunreaver, and he's actually all the way back in Lorerun. So he loses composure. He loses focus when you tell him that. So the actual hologram, basically, that he's projecting just goes... Of course, we should have guessed that this was what they were up to all along. Quickly! There's no time to waste. Wormrest must be warned. Valvaxis, you must travel as swiftly as you can to Wormrest Temple and present this letter to the steward, Torialistraz. The temple sits at the center of the Dragonblight. I'm sure that when the steward reads your introduction, he'll see to it that you gain an audience with Queen Alexstrasza. We can only hope we're not too late. Thank you for all you've done. Safe journeys!
Remember the sun well.
Go! Yes, Nosdormu is one of the very few who can simply pass through time. The other bronze dragons require tools and devices like the Hourglass of Time to do so. It is also possible to use very, very, very powerful magic in conjunction with specific artifacts to be able to affect time travel. But the only one who just has the ability, the ability to just go through time was Nosdormu. In fact, he's been absent through all of Vanilla and BC, and Wrath. And the reason why is finally revealed in Cataclysm. He's been hunting down the Infinite Flight. Which it turns out is himself, but that's just kind of how time travel works, isn't it? I must figure out who this villain is who's manipulating time. Oh, it's me, from the future. Damn it!
Anaria Shola.
Welcome to Wormrest Temple, traveler. Here the dragonflights confer in peace with one another amidst the bones of their honored ancestors. At least we were peaceful until the blue dragonflight launched a surprise attack upon the temple. Enter with our blessing, but no, we will brook no aggression in our walls. What can I do for you, Blood Elf? Oh, here, let's
Keep
read,
your wits
let's read
about
what this
you.
says, shall we? My queen, it has been discovered that the leyline intersection at Moonrest Gardens was unfettered by the blue dragonflight. Their forces use a surge needle to destroy the capstone, but instead of flowing the power back to the Nexus, they utilized a series of foci to clumsily run and augment the power under the land to the Azure Dragon's Shrine. Needless to say, this has had dire consequences wherever the magic shot up through the ground. The ancients of the woodlands, the Kaluak, and other creatures in the region have been adversely affected. Valvaxis, the blood elf who stands before you, was very helpful in tracking down and dealing with these issues. In my opinion, Valvaxis would be very useful for Wormrest in dealing with the problems that the temple currently faces. I humbly ask you consider her an asset, one that I found to be quite acceptable. Yours ever respectfully, Aethys Sunreaver, member of the Six. See you around, Thrace. Sorry about tempting you.
Glory to the Sindorai.
What can I do for you, Blood Elf? A letter of introduction to meet with the Queen? Whatever your business is, I hope it's important. The skies are full of attacking blues right now. The dragon in elf form takes your letter of introduction, peruses it, and then stashes it away in his sleeve. Everything seems to be in order. However, if you don't mind, I'd ask that you speak with your ambassador here at the temple. He has something of great import for you that needs to be taken care of before we send you up to the Queen. Don't worry, I'll keep your letter safe until you return.
We will have justice.
Of course there are, Henrik. We've actually seen several things so far, and they're all disturbing, terrible things that probably should not exist. So before we continue with our quest, I want to talk about Wormrest briefly. This is the Wormrest Temple. This is a Titan-built facility that was designed to be the specific location where the dragons would be empowered to be dragons. This is where they took proto-drakes and turned them into dragons. Much more advanced, much more magically powerful. Basically better in every way. As a result, for the last bajillion years, this has been the one safe haven for all the dragon types. As a point of note, you'll notice that there are red dragons, bronze dragons, black dragons, blue dragons, and green dragons all within here. All similarly. All more than capable of interacting with each other peacefully and cooperatively. I want to stress that even black dragons can be here peacefully. There's some politics about that I'll discuss later. Now, this whole area is the Dragonblight. This is where the dragons come to die. This is their ancestral resting grounds. There are thousands and thousands of dead dragons amongst here. It's one of the reasons why this place is such a boon to the Scourge. This is basically an entire... air fleet waiting to happen as far as the Scourge is concerned. And they are actively raising undead Drake after undead Drake after undead Drake. They're basically strip mining this place. There's also that little situation over there, but we'll get to that later. And of course, there's the Blue Dragon Shrine, which is currently a font of doom. Because that's what happens. Correct. The Infinite Flight was created by Nozdormu, or more accurately, by Murazan. But yes. Actually, it's funny you say that, Henrik. We actually see a black hole happening in the Nexus, so, you know. Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. This is the one place where the dragons meet cooperatively. As in a little aside, each of the aspects was empowered with the ability to watch after a certain aspect of what the Titans cared about, right? And I've actually already talked about that. Blue was magic, red was fire, black was earth. You can't quite see it because it's behind the temple, but over there, bronze. Right there, bronze is time. And if we go over here, green is emerald, and the emerald dream, okay? All of these different aspects, they all lost their power, their mystical connection to the Titans after the events of the Cataclysm. Now, I bring this up because the aspects all got together and said they were going to dissolve the Accord. Now, the Accord is actually it's the name for this faction, but it's a very long-standing treaty between the dragons. It's what keeps them interacting with each other peacefully while they are here. It's the one thing that basically says, all right, when all the chips are down, when we come to the Wyrmrest Accord, we come here peacefully and we come here to coordinate and organize with each other. Just period. That's what we do. If anyone else, thank you, Doc. If we could fight each other as much as we want everywhere else in the world, but when we come here, we are working together against something big. And the Wyrmrest Accord has only ever been called forward 4 times in history, I believe. Once, excuse me, once during the War of the Ancients. I'm not counting when it was formed. So once during the War of the Ancients, once during the Nexus War, aka right now, once during the Dragon Soul event at the end of Cataclysm, and once the final time, the incident I'm mentioning right now. Now that final Accord, they got together and they were basically saying, let's go ahead and break up the Accords. We don't have the aspect power anymore. We no longer have the shrines. We no longer have the power of the Titans. Let's just go our separate ways and be done with it. Now, Kalecgos, who is the blue dragon I've mentioned several times now, and again, a major character in the series, Kalecgos comes up and says, whoa, guys! Just because we're mortals now, just because we no longer have our Titan power, doesn't mean we don't want to work together. Doesn't mean we don't have a responsibility to the future. Doesn't mean we can't help each other. Come on! And he reminds them of the fact that they were brought together to help safeguard the planet as a whole, not just the pieces of the essences that the Titans had given them. And if you're paying attention to the subtlety of this, he reminds them that they are not just Titan puppets. This is a fairly recent story, by the way, and follows the more recent story arcs of highlighting the fact that the Titans are not necessarily good guys. And so he reminds them that they can still act of their own volition without being slaves to the Titans, and so they decide to retain the Wyrmrest Accords. And there's some hints that that will come back in Legion. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked into that. So, this is cool. This is great. You see this guy? Right here? This guy used to be a Dragon Maw. Not the Dragon Maw you saw in Outland. I mean the original Dragon Maw clan. The Dragon Maw clan who spent a fairly large number... Yeah, no kidding, Cloudy. A fairly large number of time enslaving and brutalizing the flights of the dragons. Now, I should probably explain that a little bit. You might think, how the hell could orcs ever enslave all of the red dragons? You remember that, right? Warcraft 2? You remember that? In Warcraft 2, the Horde's flying unit was a red dragon, and it was devastating. How the hell could that possibly happen? Well, Deathwing basically manipulated the situation so that the Dragon Soul, remember that ridiculously, insanely powerful artifact that I've mentioned a few times now? He manipulated it so the Dragon Soul fell into the hands of the Dragon Maw clan. Now, it was originally found by Zulahead the Whacked, who actually couldn't really do much with it. But he gave it to Nethicurse, I want to say? I forget the name of the other orc. He gave it to another orc who was a warlock, and was able to use that power in order to enslave Alexstrasza herself, because any one of the aspects and any of the dragons, other than Deathwing himself, was weak to the power of the Dragon Soul. So even a regular old orc who had the Dragon Soul could destroy the aspect of life herself, because that was the power of that weapon. So he used that to threaten her. And she was like, I'll kill you. And he was like, no. Killed a bunch of her consorts, all of but one, actually. And basically said, you're going to make eggs, and we're going to take them when they're babies, and we're going to enslave them and make them our steeds to go kill Alliance scum. And she was like, there's no way I'm ever going to agree with that. Why would I ever agree with that? So he walks up and kills a bunch of her eggs right in front of her. And says, now, I'm going to say this one more time. You're going to work for us, and you're going to make more eggs so that your babies can become our war steeds. So Alexstrasza basically was blackmailed into the situation. It was kind of a weird circumstance, because Alexstrasza knew she could fight back and get killed. They didn't want to kill her after all. They wanted her drakes for their use. But they would kill her if they did that, so it wouldn't really be a huge win-win scenario for them. Okay. On the other hand, of course, they easily don't have to kill her. They could just constantly keep killing her own children in order to try and enforce her will, or their will upon her. So that's how the Dragonmaw had access to the Red Dragons back during Warcraft 2. And it's also one of the reasons why the moment, and I mean the moment, that the Dragon Soul slipped from their control when the Alliance were doing the counterattack, yeah, she immediately broke through, killed hundreds of orcs in her rage on her way out, and got the hell out of Dodge. There was also a battle against Deathwing in there, which I'm not going to mention, because really it's not actually that lore relevant. There's not much to talk about there. Basically what happened is Deathwing was active during Warcraft 2, and the various aspects all beat the unliving snot out of him, and it got to the point where we actually thought Deathwing was dead because of how badly he was destroyed from that fight. He wasn't, obviously. He ended up going back to Draenor, but I already talked about that. Go ahead. I'm not taking a break again for the night. I mean, I'll be stopping soon-ish, Mums Gubbin. But I usually take breaks at about 1 to 3-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or I guess 2 to 3-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I pause for lunch. Otherwise, I just stream as much as I can. Also, seriously, there's no way in hell I'm getting through Dragonblight today. I haven't even touched the really relevant stuff over here, and there's tons of stuff over here. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go through this particular chain of arcs, and then we will go ahead and probably chop it off for the night. So for now, let's go talk to this guy. Now, you might ask, why did I bring up all that stuff? Well, you must be Valvaxis. I was told you'd be coming. I have something I want you to take care of. If you do, you'll prove yourselves to the Dragonir. You are leaving to the Ruby Dragon Shrine. This is not a request. The dragons are beset on all sides by the Blue Flight and the Scourge. They are in no better state than we are. It is not often we are afforded an opportunity to redeem ourselves for the transgressions of our ancestors. I have secured a regiment to aid the Red Dragonflight against the Scourge at the Ruby Shrine. Join them. Crush the Scourge beneath your boots. For the Horde! This is a nice touch that the Alliance doesn't get. The Horde has a special interest in helping the Ruby Dragonflight, because the Horde, or rather orcs, in the past, abused and misused their people. We have a chance now to prove we are not like them. We are not those horrible, terrible people. We want to make it up to you. So we are now going to redeem our ancestors by aiding you and undoing the sins of the past. And I like that extra personal touch there. I can't see it that way, Raskor. I'm sorry. I really can't. Not with that. Now, maybe with a few other people, but no, that particular orc and some of the orcs here, I guarantee you, they wanted to make this up to them. Ambassador Golok sent you? If you talk to him again, please let him know we are very appreciative of his aid. We are fighting a battle on far too many fronts. The Scourge have overrun the shrine. The shrine's keeper, Dahlia Suntouch, is nowhere to be found. The redworms that fell on the shrine's defenses now beset us in the form of twisted skeletal ember worms. The situation is dire, Blood Elf. Captain Drazen led a group of your kind in, stemming the flow of the scourge out of the shrine. Go to his aid, but please, stay behind his mend. The flow of scourge is endless, and I don't want to lose you in the scarred canyons.
Be careful.
So, ember worms are those things. You've seen frost worms. These are quite literally just the inverse of that. Rather than undead drakes that have been imbued with the power of frost, they're undead drakes imbued with the power of fire. And they only are made out of red dragons, and they look kind of like this. Their bones are literally burning. Sounds pleasant, right? Okay, what do I need to do? I need to go this way. That's what I need to do. One thing I also want to point out is the elf, Aethys Sunreaver from Lorerun, showed obvious and immediate reverence for Alexstrasza. I mean, of course he does. She is a very venerated figure in the history of the entire world, regardless of what side you're on. But I do find it interesting, and it makes me wonder if he was politically motivated, or if he genuinely held her in that level of regard and respect. I don't have an answer there, I just speculated. Not that I'm aware of, Rascor, no. Not counting Chromatus, of course, which I am not counting. Because Chromatus is an abomination. Kind of literally. A dragon abomination. Once again, I don't mean abomination in the general sense. I mean abomination like these guys. In other words, stitched together corpses to make something new and stronger. We'll talk about Chromatus a little bit more later, but there's not actually a lot to share about him, so he's not too relevant. Oh, come on, Nick. Come on. I need more people to attack me. There we go. Attack me. Attack me. Remember me. Remember me. This one, Shadow, or my own. Take your pick. I also think Faerun handles it pretty well.
How may I help?
It is a disgusting task, but I thank you for doing it. The Scourge cannot be permitted to push any further out of the shrine, lest all of these lands be overrun. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I really could use that right about now. I have another task that needs attention. I have brothers who are falling in battle overhead, and if we do not act quickly, they will bolster the Emberworm ranks. Get into the shrine through the pass in the south. The Scourge presence should be lighter there. Search the shrine for ruby acorns that have fallen from the tree, and plant them near the body of my fallen brood. Though through this they can be given new life. A proud fate for any of my kind.
Good luck, friend. So
the other thing that the red dragons stand for is cycles, for lack of a better term. The cycle of life, if you will. Yes, Primus is my own, Cloudy. Although, obviously, I have more than just that, but it's all connected, so whatever. So the idea of living, dying, and being reborn is another aspect of Red Dragon purview, for lack of a better term to use. Hang on. Notice there's lots of necromancers already in here. If you don't understand the significance of that, you notice that our forces are outside the shrine. So the Scourge has actually already taken the shrine. They've already conquered it, basically. And they're already using it actively for their own will. At this point, we're just trying to fight our way back into the shrine that they are in control of. And they are madly summoning as many of these red drakes, which are dead here in the shrine, you know, their bones, back up as living as quickly as they can. There is no way in hell, Kemek. Not unless I basically just stopped playing the game and just sat here and started talking. And even then, possibly not. Oh, I saw one. I saw one. Where is it? There it is. I see it. But yeah, no, I am literally not even a third of the way through this. Why do you ask, Kemek? Why do you ask? Must I destroy you for your opinion on Dragon Age 2, which you haven't even played yet? That's how that works, right? We're supposed to hate people for opinions that they haven't actually done yet. Hey, War Wager. Yeah, see, here's the thing. We're actually a decent ways through Wrath, and of course we finished Outland. Outland being the slowest expansion by far. But we also have 2 entire continents left to do. East Kingdoms and Kalimdor. And that's going to be a pretty big chunk of time right there. Now, of course, those are Cataclysm quests, so they will go fairly smoothly and fairly quickly, and I will have a decent amount to talk about the way, so there won't be much dead zones, but... yeah. I am glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad all of you guys are enjoying it, or at least those of you who are enjoying it. I know Kemek isn't enjoying it, for example. But yes, I will be here when you return, Kemek. Hopefully you will have fun with whatever it is you're doing. Ah, get him, get him. There we go, got him. I will steal your soul. Oh wait, sorry, that's not how you say it. Your soul is mine. Alright, now I just need some red dragon corpses. Quick, I need red dragons to die. Will you do? Let's find out. Where's my acorns? Oh, they're there. This is kind of neat, by the way. This is what happens when we use the acorns. The vines reach up around the body and basically drag it into the earth, so that it can be reborn as plant life and etc. No! Damn it, there's competition right now. Well, I also need that flower. Where is that ruby lilac? Oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. Hey, nothing wrong with not wanting to see it, Kemek. It is not your bag of tea, as the saying goes. I'm pretty sure that's what the saying is, right, guys? So it sounds like tomorrow we'll be getting really big into the dragon quests. There's going to be quests at basically each shrine as we help the various broods which are out here. And then we will be doing the really, really important quests in Dragonblight. Going after the Scarlet Onslaught. No, I'm dead serious. That's probably the most lore-relevant stuff we're going to be doing here in the Dragonblight. Trust me. No, it's Cake of Tea. Cake of Cup. That's definitely it. It's not your Cake of Cup, Kemek, and that's okay. A lore run is a run of a game that involves the lore. Which I know that sounds flippant, but it's true. It is a discussion about everything of the 5 points of story when it comes to a game. Yes, the Cake of Cup. A lore run of Warcraft 2? Well, I already did a lore run of Warcraft 3 where I discussed Warcraft 2. So hopefully that will be sufficient. I also discussed Warcraft 1 in there. And of course I've been discussing it here because it's kind of hard to miss Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 when discussing World of Warcraft. I just really wish Legion was out before I did this, but oh God, it was pushed back so far. I was not willing to wait. Let's see, what would that be? 7 months to start a Lorerun that I basically was ready to go on. Just because Legion wasn't out yet, you know. Least contradictions, most interesting plot and character dynamics. That's a really tough one. There are 3 expansions that are fairly self-coherent. Those 3 expansions are Wrath, Kata, and Pandaria. I know that's basically all of them. In fact, that's literally half of the expansions. But it's true, all 3 of those are very tight. Now, that being said, of those 3, given the issues Wrath had and given the issues Kata had, I think from a purely lore perspective, Pandaria is probably the most self-consistent, the one that is the strongest lore of those 3. Which I know is a rather unpopular opinion, but whatever. Well, thank you, Call Me Shu. That's kind of what I do. I'm the lore guy, lore runner. So.
Hello.
In the earth, my brothers can grant life anew. You have saved them from a fate far worse than death. I don't know a word in your tongue that could express how much this means to my kind. Thank you, Blood Elf. I have one final task of you, one that should turn the tide of this fight. Return to the shrine. Kill the necromancers that are fueling this onslaught. With them dead, we should be able to beat these forces back and eventually retake the shrine. I also need you to find the source of the corruption under the shrine and put an end to it. I know I have asked a lot of you, but if you do this for me, it will win this battle.
Be careful.
Yeah, exactly, Lusab. Wrath was planned, but had issues in production, so a lot of it was cut. The connections between Yogg-Saron and the Lich King, the entirety of Ajal Narub, you know, that kind of a thing. Pandaria was planned from the beginning, but also had issues, mostly in its late-game implementation, and the fact that it was kind of rushed a little bit. But Pandaria, they went into strong and heavy. Pandaria's biggest flaws were in its late game with regards to certain things I'll discuss when we get there. But none of those were lore-related, so... okay, so my thoughts on the branches of science that are entirely speculative and have no evidence or... I have no problem with such things existing, Shadow. In fact, I'm the kind of guy, if I was in charge, I would try to make sure there's at least some funding still available for such sciences. But I would also have someone whose basically job is, let's call him a common sense overseer. Their job would be to go through every now and again and make sure they aren't blowing money on ridiculous things, and trying to gear it away from, speculative science towards functional, practical, applied sciences, to make sure there's always that direction going. It's a little too easy, I've noticed, for some people to simply get interested in science for science's sake, and that's great if we had infinite resources, which we don't. Oh no! No! Ah, quick! Ah! Tag! Ah, hopefully I got credit. Yay, life is good. Slash bow. And I'm out. Peace! Cake or death? I suppose I'll have cake then. Well, we're all out of cake. So my options are or death. Sorry, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Izzard. I have a lot of his stuff literally memorized because of how often I listen to it during long car trips and whatnot. When I was moving from Indiana to Georgia, which is like a 6-hour drive, something like that, yeah, I pretty much was just listening to Eddie Izzard the whole way to keep myself conscious and not bored to death. Come on, one more. One more!
Yes, QQ. Georgia, Russia, of course. Hey, it's that ruby lilac that the Forsaken guy wanted. I sure hope he's not using that plague-resistant item that we got for him in order to try and research a way for the Forsaken Blight to be even more powerful. That would be really terrible. Is this a Worgen? I'll go ahead and get in line. I'll be nice. I'll be nice. Go ahead, Worgen. Go ahead. Take it. I do not have any interest in being a dick. Yeah, Shadow doesn't like WoW. So this is Dahlia Suntouch. We kill her, of course. I've lived here and kept this shrine with the blessing of Alexstrasza for longer than I can remember. In its darkest hour, I failed. I fell at the feet of that damned Death Knight. Bloodbane. She spits at the name. The Lich King is stretching his hand far now, fearlessly treading on the most sacred lands of all the flights. He intends to force us into action. My time is done. I offered myself to Alexstrasza in life, but I have nothing to offer her in death. She will need a new keeper for her shrine. And thank you. Thank you for freeing me from the shackles of the damned. You are a hero. I know you will go on to great deeds. That's why you watch the Lorerun, Shadow. Come on, dude. We already talked about this. No, Shadow doesn't actually like Zelda, so that's not a good way to talk about that.
Greetings.
Dahlia? They turned her? Dahlia has been loyal to us for a very long time. If they can corrupt someone of her devotion, it does not bode well for the rest of the younger races. Thank you for freeing her. I hope she has found some measure of peace. You have honored us with your selfless assistance today, Blood Elf. Perhaps not all the Horde bears the black hearts of their ancestors. I will send word to the Council of what you and your kind have accomplished here. You've proven you're to be trusted, and more. You should return to Wormrest and speak more with Teriolistraz.
Till next we meet.
Exactly, Shadow. Yeah, let's go and turn that in really quick. I agree. Poor Alexstrasza. No, Henrik, that was actually Deathwing who tried to do that and failed. Still messed up. But, yeah, not as bad.
Sug.
About time someone killed that thing. Here's a reward.
Go for victory.
East of here in the heart of Dragonblight is a field full of nothing but dragon bones and snow. The Scourge have set up multiple camps in the central tundra and are raising frostworms to send in our forces at the Wrathgate. While most of the frostworms are easily dealt with, one of them is proving to be problematic. Go northeast, seek out Rokan and his dragon hunters. Help him and his men put down Sarathsra, and you shall be rewarded handsomely.
For the Horde.
Let's see what this Forsaken gentleman says.
What is it?
Do you have any of the ruby lilac? That wasn't so difficult, now was it? Give me a moment to prepare the vaccine. Here. Take this back to the cow. Know them that all debts have been paid. We are officially square. Now leave me before I set Jennings upon you.
Goodbye.
Well, in fairness, as I pointed out yesterday, sex for enjoyment isn't a thing for dragons. So to try and force Alexstrasza to be a sex slave in addition to a mate slave was really depraved thing for a dragon to do.
How may I aid you?
Only one thing left to do now.
Inside this pack are several vials containing the vaccine that Centaur created. I now want you to search the nearby woods for snowfall elk and arctic grizzlies. When you locate them, throw the vial in a general direction. It will release a fine gas that will act as an inoculating agent. They merely have to step inside and will be vaccinated. Ultimately,
Ancestors
saved.
watch over you.
Let's do it. Save him. Oh, I definitely think he would still be a warmongering character, but he might not have turned into the mass atrocity person that he was. So, you know. Hey, look. It's a little bunny. Hello, little bunny. How are you? Let me get my axe ready here. Yep. Gotta line up the blade. I want to make sure I kill this bunny as swiftly as possible. Hey, where'd he go? Well, I guess he gets to live today. Just for today. Oh, dragons enjoy plenty of things. Just not that. I was only kidding, guys. I totally wasn't going to massacre the bunny. I mean, I didn't kill that cat earlier, remember? In Noxuramus. That counts, right? That counts for something. There's another one. Die, bunny! They're part of a quest, by the way. Name it. Oh. Venus should be Earth-like. You know what else should be Earth-like? Jupiter. What? Imagine what it would be like if we had the power to terraform Jupiter. Okay. Just think, guys, what if the Jupiter was, like, connected to the twisting nether? And then we could send all the blood elves there, and they would have all the magic they want. Look, Last Echo, I've only genocided... Look, it doesn't matter. The point is, I didn't genocide the bunnies, okay?
Greetings.
You have done an honorable thing, Valvaxis. Please, choose a reward.
Farewell.
Actually, War Wager, there are people who are genuinely thinking about the logistics of somehow, over a very, very long period of time, terraforming Jupiter. Hey, Green. Hey, Axcac. That's a good question. Who would rule Northrend? Well, it's funny you asked that, since, as I mentioned earlier, once the Scourge are removed from power, no one actually rules Northrend. Nobody's in charge up here anymore. But I already have, Green. Alright, Lusab. Everyone on hold. Actually, we're just shutting off that. No, I'm kidding. Alright. So these are the Dragon Hunters. They take a few losses fighting dragons. Unlike the Alliance, who have those giant turrets, the Trolls do it a little bit more awesomely.
You come get the voodoo.
Me hunters be dead or frozen. You still want to do this? You just say the word. Me call the dragon down once more.
If you kill it, you take the heart, the beast frozen heart, back to Agmar's hammer. Present it to Gort. He'd be sure to reward you good, man.
Stay away from the voodoo.
Let's do it.
You be careful, man.
Don't worry, man. Just leave it to Rokar. She be coming. There she is. Oh god, I remember when this was such a hellish fight. There were regular requests in our guild for people who are leveling or leveling alts to go kill this mob because she hurt like just, yeah. This was not an easy fight back in the day. And she's dead. Anyways, based on the powers that are left, honestly, I mean, there's really no one left. So we've got... So normally I'd say the Drakari. But the Drakari basically kill themselves. So they're not a choice. I'd say the Worgen, but they're not really an option for reasons we'll get into. So then I'd say the Tuskar, but they don't actually have any interest in any large-scale civilizations. They're not empire builders. There really aren't many other options at that point. Although there is one other significant option. It's an organization that has an ability for building settlements and for building, building up into areas and for civilization and trade and all the things needed to build an actual empire in Northrend. I am referring, of course, to the Tonka. One of the things I would be interested in seeing is if the Tonka actually really expanded into Northrend, really started settling in the wake of the massive death that was left behind after the Northrend campaign. And the Nerubians, that's actually true. The Nerubians are another option. I hadn't actually thought about that because I'm stupid. So you know what? I've got it. Nerubians and Tonka working together to just see around green to expand throughout all of Northrend. Yes. Yes. But seriously though, the Nerubians are a much better option.
What you want?
Oi, man. One of those little snowball runs trashed our camp last night during the dragon attack. They must have been hounding us whenever we turned our backs. And I'd be having enough. To the east, you'll find the snowballs hiding under the skirts of some local magnetar. Go slaughter them. If the magnetar interfere, kill them as well.
Later.
I will do this. I will kill all the snowballs. This is all just dreaming, Tom and Korea. I sincerely doubt they'll do any rehashing of old content anytime soon. Not unless, Operation Bellhammer goes over without a hitch. Then, maybe. Damn it. I need snowballs. Alright, fine, we'll go for this chunk of snowballs. That would be really cool, though, to revisit Northrend afterwards. To see what the Nerubians have done to this place, I know a decent amount about what's coming out in Legion, but I've been trying to dance around that information to not spoil my viewers. I made the conscious decision to finally just spoil myself for the sake of the Lorerun. And so I've just kind of really just started researching it. I also know a person who is in the beta, or in the alpha, I guess, right now. So I've been asking questions, and I've been, doing all that kind of thing. Dude, nobody's gonna resist fighting me if I offer them something else to do. Like a really good MMO. Would you believe no one's ever asked me that, little Billy? Tell you what, if I ever get to the point where I actually have the ability to enact Operation Bellhammer, I'll tell you why it's named that. If you think about it, though, the name is actually fairly obvious.
So, XCAC, that's an interesting question. My first immediate answer is yes. My second answer, after thinking about it for a moment, is hell yes. My third thought, after thinking about it for even longer, is why are you asking me this? I mean, they're tying up a lot of plot threads. They're trying to re-stretch out the so-called prestige class mentality by allowing each specialization to feel differently, as I discussed earlier. And they're bringing back the Legion in a big way. They also are not really afraid about changing the status quo. All of that sounds like a positive to me. I gotta be honest, Permeus, I don't even know what that means. Does anyone here even know what a bellhammer is? The only sadness I have for the future of WoW is the fact that there are so many small stories I wish to be continued. And honestly, it's getting to the point where small stories are less and less likely to happen in the game proper. Because there's just so much focus that needs to be put onto the main plots, you know?
Hello, man.
I can't believe this. Another band of those vermin just tried to take off with more of our supplies. They're scurrying down the canyon now. Get after them. Kill whoever sent them. I don't want to die. Get back here. I'll be killing you now. There be no escape. You're gonna be dying here. We bury you. Why would I want WoW to end, XCAC? Also, I'm not sure how Legion could qualify as stalling. Also, there's way too many plot threads to be tied up before they could get to the actual ending. So, I mean... I don't know. I can't agree with you, XCAC, I guess. Sorry. Ooh, I got an emblazoned horn. The underside of this horn boasts an emblazoned seal with a hammer, a bell hammer, might say, and a lightning bolt. Interesting.
How you doing, man?
Ice Fist, I heard his name before. That's some good work, mon. Hopefully we Darkspear can turn our attention back to the Dragon Menace now.
Be seeing ya.
There you go, Permeus. That's an accurate statement. Okay, so did I? Yes, I did. Okay. So we did that and we did that. Why don't we go ahead and finish that thread up? And then that thread. Only if the game didn't stop then, Ricky. Only if we kept being able to keep playing after the end. I know exactly how I'd end WoW, and I wouldn't end WoW for a bit. I mean, there's still tons of story to be done. It's a little complicated, so I can't just tell you, and then Bob shows up and it's over. I can't do that. And all the people make out and it's very sexy. I can't just do that. So forgive me for not being able to really summarize in quick. However, would I keep the story going afterwards? Abso-freaking-lutely. If I feel there is still stories to be told in a setting, then I see no reason to cut off a setting. If they were going to do World of Warcraft 2, it would have to be fundamentally different. But that is doable, and I know how I would do it. Go ahead, Shadow. Permission granted. This time. I will also say this, there's almost no need to release a WoW 2. Almost. The only reason to release a WoW 2 is if they're fundamentally altering pretty much everything under the hood. And, yeah, that's the only reason to bother doing that. I mean, some people are like, oh, this game has aged badly, and, you know, that's their right to think that. But again, you have to try and keep in mind, this engine has been adapting and changing every single expansion. They have gotten better and better and better about using the actual under-the-hood code in this game each and every single time a new expansion's come out. So, yeah, it hasn't just been static, and they've been adding tons of new functionality.
Blood and thunder. Strength.
Quality options as I'm finishing up for the night. Thanks, Twitch.
Make it quick.
In service of unholy. Impressive. You bested a Death Knight of Arthas. Clearly you are not alone, but still.
Tomorrow is another day.
Bring the blood of the meek to me. A simple task for a simpleton. You've performed within my expectations.
Suffer well.
We are all in service to Frost in Northrend.
Another time.
While you have done much for me, one task remains. Beside the world you know exists another world. It is from that... I said yes, Shadow. It is from that world, the world of shadows, that my tormentors assault me. While I am powerless to face mine own demons, you could end their reign of terror. You have the strength. I have seen it with mine own eyes. Enter the world of shadows and face the demons that torment me.
There's work to be done.
Is he here right now? Nope. We're just going to hang out while I answer a few questions to let him time to show up. So, hey Teufs, I'm glad you've been liking the Kingdom Hearts run. It's going to keep going live for at least another week or two, I think. So I hope you continue to enjoy it as we go through the rest of the series. Every day, 5 p.m., or excuse me, 6 p.m. EST. So, thank you. Anyone care? I guess that's it. That's it. I thought I had another question to catch up on. Did I miss someone's question? Oh, well. He hasn't shown up yet. No prizes for second place. Space race. This soul is not worth saving. So, you remember how I mentioned how Death Knights and a lot of Type 3 A and B undead have to kill? How they have basically things that are built into them to make them loyal? This is one of our first insights into what it's like. These tormentors, creatures from the shadows, that specifically go around haunting those who do not have otherwise protection. This is actually kind of an interesting factoid right here. The Lich King, for all his terrible, horrible evil, does one thing to help ensure the loyalty of his Death Knights, other than enslaving them to his will horribly. He protects them from these creatures. What I mean by that is these are not sent by the Lich King. These were not built by the Lich King to torment his Death Knights. They're either a byproduct, or they're sent by someone else. And I think you can have a good guess as to who that someone else is. Come on, show up. I'm just going to wait here for a second. Congrats, Nicholas. Welcome to the 100 Club. Well, thank you, Kemek. I will take that as a compliment. You know what we really need from the moon? We need to mine the crap out of it and use all that moon rock dust to create portal gun juice, and I'm done. Come on, land. Maybe I can trigger him. Just walk out into the middle here. Ah, crap. No. No. Run. Oh, God. Run away. Run away. Oh, God. They're after me. They're after me. Ah, wah, 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 wah. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like his respawn timer is a full 20 minutes. So, based on the RNG of that, and the fact that I got a schedule to keep, we're just going to try and cheat. So, let's see if we can cheat this up, shall we? Why isn't it playing? That should work. Okay. Well, since the script isn't working at all, let's see if YouTube works. Nope, that's terrible quality. Okay. Well, that sucks. I can't even find a frickin' list of what he says. Why is the script not working? No, there's no actual cheating, Rick. I'm trying to play the sound file directly by running a sound script, but it's not working, which I don't understand. There's no reason for that script not to be working. Do I have to macro it? You know, that shouldn't make any difference at all. Yeah, it's not working. What the hell? Why is that not... Okay, I see why. I see why. Okay, hang on. Let's see if this works. Nope. Meanwhile, my viewers are like, what the hell is he doing? Oh! Oh, okay, okay, okay. That should explain everything. Okay, hang on, hang on. Let me rewrite this just a little bit. Let's see if this works. Let's kill the music.
The Horde, meddling as always. I suppose a welcome is in order. So welcome, insects. Welcome to my world. Meddling as always. I suppose a welcome is in order. So welcome, insects. Welcome to my world. You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers. You wish to save your ally, and have risked life and limb to be here. Allow me to help. The boy believed that he was free, but free will has a price. The demons I kept at bay are now loosed upon him, and all Death Knights that attempt to flee. Mograin's sacrifice was for nothing. You will let Cold Tira know, won't you? And remember this, mortal. For now, I give you the choice. I allow you to pick your allegiance. But in the end, you will be mine. One way or another.
Yes, Schmeidolf. That's why I was trying to pull the sound file so you could hear that. I actually need to go back in. Whoops. So yeah, that's what the Lich King says during this particular quest here.
Yes.
Oh yes, and a mortal count for that.
We press on.
The power I hold comes at great cost, Valvaxis. Many knights, light and dark alike, lost their lives in the final battle in Light's Hope. The prospect of the future looks grim. But at least now I know what I face. The Lich King will never release his grasp, and for that alone he must die. Here it is, Valvaxis. I have translated everything printed on the pages in the tome. Inside you will find a list of the names of the Cult of the Damned members, spanning the entire continent. Their network of spies and operatives is impressive, to say the least. Farewell, friend. May the book serve you and your people well.
Ashes to ashes.
Hello, Juice. Also, notice that the Lich King specifically talked to us there. Not the first time he has done so, I feel like adding. And flat out told us that he's got his eye on us and wants to recruit us in the future.
What do you mean? It's about time. Where have you been?
What? This can't be right. I've known some of these orcs for years. Leave me, Valvaxis. I have much work to do and many traitors to execute. Take one of these items for your trouble. You've done a great service to the Horde.
Dabu.
That must be a weird feeling. Alright, we found a list of the people who are working for the Twilight of the, or the cultist. The Cult of the Damned. Excellent! Who is it? Well, that guy right behind you over there, and your mother, and 3 other people you've known for the last 5 years. Really? Oh yeah, they're all working for the Scourge. And who wouldn't? I mean, honestly, wouldn't you work for the Scourge? Join us. Or, I mean, totally not a recruit for the Scourge. I'm telling you, this world must burn. Actually, I wonder if that's in here. That'd be kind of funny if it was. I doubt it, though. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. It's not going to do that.
Our enemies will fall.
Back so soon, Valvaxis. Vargastra sent word ahead of you. Thank you for what you did at the Ruby Shrine. Ah, yes, I think you're ready to see the Queen now. When you are ready, speak to me again, and I will see one of these drakes deliver you safely to the top of the temple. You will need to present your letter in person to Queen Alexstrasza. Wait, we have to actually meet the Queen of the Dragons ourselves? Holy crap. I don't think I'm ready for that.
Guys, I can't deal with that responsibility. I do think, however, I can delay that responsibility. Because this is a good time to cut off for the night. Tomorrow, we can then do all of the Dragonflight stuff pretty much in one big bundle. Hit up the last little bundle of quests, which is over here, of course, dealing with the Scarlet Onslaught. And then tomorrow we'll be doing the Wrathgate. I will see you guys tomorrow morning.